Oh, okay.
Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and this is Friday Night Tights. Greetings, everybody. Happy Friday. Friday before Christmas. Everybody's getting ready. I'm sure you've gotten all your shopping done. There's no last-minute stuff to do. Everything's taken care of, and you're just going to chill out for the next 3 days, I bet, because that's completely not the case with me. How about you, Susan?
Oh yeah, I'm just, I'm here. I'm ready to go. I have shopping done. Everything's stocked. Lots of tequila, ready to go. Yes, let's do
Ah,
this.
that is the most important thing. The alcohol is situated.
Yes.
That is good. Oh my God. Hello, everybody. We're going to let some people roll in before we get started. We could just chit chat for a minute. We have Mary Ashmead here in her wrench, of course. Greetings, Mary. Mako. And there, Rich. What is up, Mako? How's it going? And OG Spock Love. I am in tights right now. I'm just not standing up, but I'm wearing my proper tights. I just will. I'll leave it there. Everything's tight. We'll just say everything's tight. Susan is wearing her superhero tights as well,
I am.
but she
Yes.
but she wears them all the time. You know, she's fighting crime. She's serving justice and writing for 1428elm.com all at the same time. Oh, I just blew your secret identity. Damn.
Yeah, you did.
Should
Damn
have
it.
never tell me this stuff. I'm a big blabber. DeForce 10 is here. Knowledge driven is here. I'm seeing new names. This is great. Mark Lazerth, Brian Fisher, Carrie Dalton is here. What is up, Carrie Dalton? Mr. Twisted 72, drinking game. The drinking game for Friday Night Tights is every time I mention I own a comic book store, which
Oh.
is about as 6 or 7 times an episode, probably.
Well, apparently it should be if we want everybody to get drunk, it should be when I swear, because I shouldn't swear anymore. But that's a whole other story.
You know what? We have very few rules here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was taken to task.
Yeah. From Hellheart is here. Alexander Vidoff. Vidoff. I still can't. Alexander, I still can't pronounce your Vidokovic. Vidokovic. Vitch? Is it a Vitch? Is it a Vidokovic? Am I close? Matt Guy. Live long and prosper, Matt Guy. Coyote Clone. Hello. Lloyd is here. He is just simply Lloyd. My name is Lloyd. You know what's funny is there was a Lloyd and then there was a Lloyd 1 in the chat one time. That was pretty funny. And they're like, hey, man, you got my name first. Cajun 451 is here. Wee Negan Now is here. The Filthy Farmer, as opposed to the Clean Farmer. Yeah, a lot of people. Dr. Venkman is here. Thank God Dr. Venkman is here. I'm a scientist, man. Back off. Back off. I'm a scientist. Rob Shlomo is here. What is up, Rob? How you doing? Yeah, so we got some news to talk about. What we're going to be talking about, of course, Doctor Who. We got a major course correction going on, and the biggest fluff piece I've read in the last 24 hours, at least, on Jodie Whittaker. I know Susan really enjoyed that article. She was just telling me. Yes.
So well done. Yeah.
Word salad. We are also going to be talking about, I believe, yes, this has been mentioned before, but I read an article which to me serves as confirmation on what type of Spock we are going to get in Star Trek Discovery. And Star Trek Discovery continues its long storied history of when it uses ideas from canon, it picks the worst one. So don't be surprised if the Red Angel is Spock's brain, because that's what it could be. And yes, action figure expert. Oh, person after my own heart right there. I love action figures. I do. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the 3016 scale Drogon. I was like, oh, it's $1,500 though, folks. I don't know if I can justify that to Mrs. Neurotic. We're getting Pecker Spock. Yes, we are. He's a pecker, all right. Peckerwood Spock. That'd be more interesting than what we're getting. Instead of Whole Foods Spock. OG Spock Love says, I might get triggered. Well, that's what we're here to do. Aki Ross is here. Joker 79. Yeah, we saw Joker's tonight on Titans. Well, we saw him dead. Sorry, spoilers. Pen Farm Girl and her wrench, Truth Apocalypse. Greetings. Oh, okay. So yeah, Mrs. Neurotic is out getting I think drunk right now. And she's got a ride home. So Neurotic Jr. is watching YouTube, probably watching Midnight's Edge. I doubt he even subscribes to my channel, which is funny.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. And Spock is the sidekick of Burnham. This is hilarious. Yes. That is, ooh, you are so close, Matthew. I think that's kind of the case. Believe me, I think they added an episode at the end. My guess is they ended the series and they flash forward a little bit, and Captain Kirk is studying studying Michael Burnham. And we're going to go to the Starfleet Academy, and there's going to be a Michael Burnham wing at the Starfleet Academy, and he's going to be studying Michael Burnham like they study Faulkner in Altered Carbon. Yes. Oh yeah. She's going to be the
they'll have a statue.
Yeah, there's going to be a Burnham statue. I'm calling it right now. Shameless self-promotion. It's not shameless. Rob Shlomo, you can promote here. It's fine. Yes, Midnight's Edge just did a Stan Lee tribute. Please go watch it when you get a chance. Please. It's really well done. It's really, really well done. The Burns Ward. Yes. Oh, Michael Burnham. Poor Sonequa Martin Green. I don't think she knew what she was getting into. Yes, Grace. They did do a great piece on Stanley. So as people roll in, how's your week been?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
who else am I talking to?
Go with it. Yeah, no, the same. Busy, very, very busy. Just did a huge interview with Michael Ironside that came out yesterday. So that was most of my week.
That doesn't suck. That is cool. Oh my God, that is cool. Yes, another thing you guys need to go check out. We'll link this in the description when the video is over. How did he come off? Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, he was really cool. It was a bit of a snafu at the beginning. Yeah, it was one of those things where it may make a book at some point. So yeah, there was some interesting background stuff that happened. But yeah, well, thank you, Pen Farm Girl. Thank you, Filthy Farmer. I appreciate saying that you enjoyed it. It was interesting to talk to him. He has a lot of thoughts on acting that I've never heard before. Stained glass. Actors are like stained glass. The light through stained glass.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, dude, that guy has been around. I mean, to survive Hollywood, which not everybody does, and to stay, busy his entire career. Like, he never made it to, the stratosphere. He was a kind of almost a star at one point.
Well, he told me flat out, he's like, I'm never going to be a star. And he's like, and I'm okay with that. He does 2 or 3 pictures that are viable to keep his name out there. And then he can go and do what he wants and travel to locations. And he's all about, is the part challenging? Am I going to like the people that I work with? If I do, I'll work with them again.
That's great. Yeah. And that's a great attitude for Hollywood. And I think a lot of the people I ran into doing post-production and stuff, that's how they rolled. They did their job. It was keeping their name in the industry, but they were able to, it allowed them to do creative stuff on the outside, at least in the old days. I don't know if they work you a lot of hours now, so I don't know if they let you do that now. But yeah, that's awesome. Somebody who's comfortable in his skin. That is good. Mako says Michael Burnham is more important than Zephyrin Cockrum. She is the alpha and the omega, like Q, but better. Says Mako.
Stop.
Yeah, we're gonna find out at the end of Star Trek Discovery that she will actually have found an error in Zephyrin Cochrane's his theory for warp, and she actually refined it. So You know, maybe I mean, Trekkies don't get me on this one because I don't know for sure, but I know that Zephram Cochrane, basically was the first one to not discover to achieve warp, and maybe it was Michael Burnham who found warp factor 1 and 2 or something like that. They'll do something like that. Yeah. What Alex Kurtzman has come out and said is this is why they choose prequels. I keep on asking this question, Susan. I like, why do they keep going to effing prequels? And then
Yeah,
like, I'm a dumbass. I'm a total dumbass. It's easier. It's easier to pine off something than come up with your own ideas. So they go back to prequels so they can find little holes or gaps in the canon that they can fill. And it's easier. And there's your instant idea instead of just coming up with a whole new thing on your own, which is hard. When
yeah,
you're a hack like Kurtzman, yeah, you just go back and pine. And this is the whole like school of J.J. Abrams. This is their whole model, that don't come up with anything original. And this is how they do it. They found a way to navigate Hollywood. And if you're friends with JJ and you're part of this group, they have found a perfect way to navigate Hollywood through the art of bullshit. And I have to, my tinfoil hat is off to them. They're the best. They are utterly the best. I was looking at Kurtzman's IMDb again today, I have to be reminded, and I marvel that this guy gets work and Akiva Goldsman gets work, because their name were attached to 1 or 2 hits, and they have so many just outright bombs. And we hear all this talk about inclusion and diversity, and these guys keep getting work. I really wish they would find some inclusion and diversity with these guys.
well,
God.
I had a conversation tonight about, looking at Voyager and DS9 and all of the incarnations that we had from Star Trek prior to STD. Nobody had any problems with them. Yeah, there were different characters. We got introduced to different species, but they all had the same tenets. You had the prime directive, you had familiarity. So people, there were different entities, but we were okay with them because they made sense within the Star Trek world. And now we don't really have that anymore. I mean, when I saw this BS about the Red Angel, I was like, when did Spock start getting visions? When did this happen? What's the red lights and all that? Why are we doing this? And furthermore, the cage, while it was interesting, NBC originally rejected it because it was too cerebral and intellectual. So I guess we're going back to that Spock, like you said, Gary, because not too many people are familiar with that incarnation of Spock. And probably a lot of people haven't seen that Jeffrey Hunter pilot that didn't really take off, didn't make it. And instead, we saw Gary Lockwood and Sally Kellerman in Where No Man Has Gone Before, was the pilot of what we know as the original series.
Yep. And I just recently watched The Cage because I'm watching the original series in order
Yeah.
it's been a long time if I've done it before, to get ready for Star Trek Discovery. And it's bad. It's not good. I'm sorry. I remember when it came out, and I know it's officially canon. And it's I've heard the story. Jeffrey, the guy who played Pike, Jeffrey Hunter,
Yeah, Jeffrey Hunter.
God, I didn't realize he died so young. He died the year I was born, I think. He didn't want the role. He did the pilot, and then he was starting to get some movie gigs, so he's like, I don't want it. And but he wasn't very good. He wasn't very dynamic, or
Very
like
wooden.
Shatner's was way better, way better. And oh, that sucks. That just yeah, shit happens. So but for Kurtzman to single this out, I mean, I could ask why at this point. It's just it's ridiculous. I was looking up some chat here. Yeah, I'm sorry that I made you throw up in your mouth a little bit with the concept of of the Michael Burnham wing. Uh,
Oh God.
and somebody said that I hope they use her as I hope the birds use her as a toilet if it's a statue. Yeah. He has telepathy, not visions. Exact. OG Spock Love, whatever the hell they have going on,
Yeah.
they don't care. See, the fact is, I mean, yes, we've said it over and over again. We got a lot of new subscribers though, is they just don't give a shit and they want to be free of rules. And this is going to tie into the Doctor Who thing we're reading a little bit too. It's become very clear that despite our protests, Hollywood could give two shits about what we think of canon and are not going to correct it unless there's a total revolt. Okay. And by the time it gets to total fan revolt, isn't it kind of too late? Because fans are pretty forgiving. Fans are pretty fucking loyal and they're going to stick with it as long as possible. And you have to do something so bad for all the fans to rise up. And it seems to be where, honestly, I don't know if we're there yet with Doctor Who. I don't. I hope so. With Star Trek, I don't know. With Star Wars, we're there. We're there. They've heard, they have listened, and they're changing things, but I think it's too late. But what the hell? Here's what the article says. It's one on this, as Ethan says, it's a garbage tier website. It's got a lot of little pop-up crap and stuff. But I'll highlight it's just a sentence here and all this gobbledygook. They showed that behind the scenes thing and that they didn't use the same color palette as Infinity War and everybody else is using right now, by the way. Here we go. Set 10 years before the original series, Discovery's next run will aim to fill in the gaps between the cage, which had many cast and stylistic changes from the actual show. This is a way. Okay, if you guys remember, if you've seen any of the Blu-ray special features or you remember my review, it was said over and over again. Well, we went to canon, but we decided to backtrack and extrapolate and cross figure and whatever fucking used, and then we decided to do something cool. So now they're trying desperately because they didn't give a crap canon, and all of a sudden they do, to connect it in any way. And the only way they can connect it is with the pilot episode, which was totally different from the rest of the show. And the Trek we're all familiar with. Of course, one big way it'll do this is by showing us how Spock goes from being the more relaxed human character we witnessed in the original series pilot to the removed logician. Oh my god, logic. Logician. I don't know. Logshin. I can't. That we come to know and love. Logician, is that what it is? Logician.
Yes.
Logician. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, he was relaxed and human, and this is, I always took that as, we just ignore that. There's certain things in canon that are out of place that we just ignore, like when we first, the big difference between the looks of the Klingons in the beginning, we just ignored that. All right. The things that don't match up in Star Wars, we just ignore that. We don't actually go back to it. So, first they copied the worst idea with Sivok with the whole half brother, half sister or adopted sister thing. And now they're doing this. It's going to be fun to cover the show. It really is. I was kind of worried, I wasn't worried. I was like, what if they make it good? What if it's entertaining? It's
cinematic. We keep hearing that.
Cinematic. Well, it's also what they said is that the next batch of episodes will stick much closer to the tone and the rhythm seen in the original series, which should please longtime fans. So even if they came correct, everybody, like say a miracle happens and they come correct, there's still season 1. It still exists. Is it something we can just ignore? Do you think it's possible? I don't, but it's a kind of magic, says Coyote Clone.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
Hollywood's famous now for ignoring sequels and ignoring things that happened beforehand. I mean, if you take a look at the new Halloween movie, basically it ignored everything except for the very first movie. And I mean, that's kind of like a pattern that Hollywood's in now. You know, just forget about what happened and let's just go with this new idea. So it'll fall right in line.
yeah. Mr. Twisted 72 says, my theory is we find out Sarek abused Spock, Mikey Spock, and abused Cybok, Mikey Spock, and Spock. I wouldn't put that past him. I really wouldn't. I mean, they really need to double down on the bad father. I mean, he already like lied to her. And yeah. Yeah, they don't mention Cybok at all. That's funny. Oh my God. I'm hoping they make their own timeline, but they're not gonna. They're not gonna. It's well, I guess my concern is it feels like there's gonna be a season 3 to this show. It really does. I know all the news out there, and I don't want to doubt my friends, but it feels like there's gonna be a season 3. I
They
don't know if I
might
could
give
take
it a
that.
season 3 to let Van Sitter get a hold of it and let him take the reins of it just to see what he can do.
Yeah.
That might be what they have in mind for it, because it sounds like they have a guy that knows the brand, that's a Star Trek fiend. If you go to his Twitter feed, you can see that. Maybe that's the only way they'll get a season 3, to see if he can turn the ship around, no pun intended.
Yeah, I gotta admit, like seeing that guy come in pleased me to no end. Just to know that like it's not like Kurtzman wanted this guy.
No.
And like I said in my video, he just got Scrooged so hard. You know, hey buddy, how's it going? I'm here to help you with Star Trek. Huh? I just signed a 5-year deal. I'm here to help you because you don't know shit. Yeah, see you in 10 years, says Brand Noble. And Cajun 451 says, even if that comes true, I wouldn't see it. I'm not paying for that. And it being behind a paywall, that doesn't change anything. Yes. STD continuity will will have Spock smiling at a blue flower plant. Yes. Oh, I'm sure they'll have one of those Aki Ross in there just to remind us all. Remember the cage and the blue flower and the smile.
Oh God.
Yes. Brian Fisher says, if you like hardcore cannibalism, go watch Night Flyers. Well, you know, who doesn't? Yeah. Uh, uh, yes. Star Trek Discovery should be hauled away as I see GA, but we'll just say hauled away. How's that? Sometimes you hit enter when you don't mean to in the chat, man. I operate in a lot of chats, and yeah, especially it's really bad when I try to chat when I'm working out. It doesn't work very good.
OG Spock Love says, can we all just go into cryogenic sleep until this ends?
That's almost. I really would like to. We wake up one day and like entertainment's entertaining again, and oh, just to okay. So I was trying to make an analogy last live stream. I do so many that you know they try to inject in certain TV shows. It's not every TV show, but it's most at this point now. They try to inject just some little political jab. Um, and I am looking for it now. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
admit that. But it, you know, a couple times an episode, and I equated it to like trying to, you know, the hooks in a song. Now there's multiple hooks in a pop song. They have to happen every like 30 seconds or 45 seconds. I'm guessing on the time. I don't know what it is exactly.
Yeah.
But I was watching The Runaways, which I'm gonna just review the entire season. I was gonna review episode 1. I didn't have time, so Sunday I'm gonna review the whole season. And by God, every 15 minutes, almost on the money, there is a little political jab. I mean, a couple of them are completely harmless, like nothing, like you wouldn't even think twice about them, but they're there. And it's like right at the 15-minute mark, 30-minute mark, 45-minute mark. And I'm like, holy shit, what's weird. And
Is
I'm
it
going
like
to,
right before commercials by any chance?
there's no commercials on Hulu. They
Oh,
do
that's right.
yeah. So, yeah, by the way, on that thought, while I was watching Titans today, if you're paying for a TV show on a pay service, why are they sticking to the 45-minute, 50-minute model? Why aren't they making them a full hour?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever. I'm wondering if there's some union rule or something like that, but PC brain. Yeah, it is. It's freaking brainwashing. If I see that, I'm going to look for it more. And if I start seeing it more, I'll bring it up to you guys. It might have been just the Runaways, and I try to enjoy my television and not look at that stuff. But and like one of the comments was like, it's homelessness is bad. So that's fine. I mean, like, yes, it's bad. Agreed. But there's another one that was, yeah, I'll talk about it in the review. Does anyone here watch Game of Thrones? We Negan now. Yeah. I don't get me started on it, man. The rest of this podcast will be Game of Thrones, and I don't know if everybody wants that. We Negan now. I watch it. We will be covering it. Gary, looking for logic. I know I'm dumb. There is Nimoy, Shatner, and Kelly. I don't accept false substitutes, says Matthew. Yeah.
Pretty much how I feel.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's coming for Star Wars too. And it's, me and my nerd friends talked about this 20 years ago, half as jest, but we did talk about like someday they're going to remake Star Wars and Star Trek and they're going to have to recast these people. And we didn't think it was as likely with Star Trek. We thought they would just, because they've proven they can go beyond this now. So I thought it was way more likely that they would recast the original Star Wars because, yeah, is as big as the EU is, as big as Star Wars is, it's still pretty much centered around the Skywalker family and stuff. There's a huge fandom for the stuff outside, but it's not as big as what's for the Star Trek, and they want as big as that. So, Stealth Cat says not a GOT fan. Yeah, a lot of people dipped out. Game of Thrones fan here, and Jesus is CW junk. You mean Jesus or Jesus? And Jesus is CW junk. Yes, I am. A Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart is on right now. Well, thanks for mentioning counter programming there, Robot. You can shill, but counter programming. Come on, dude. I'll remind me next time I'm on here. I'm in your chat. I'm gonna go. Hey, guess what's on right now? Jesus has risen from the dead.
Nice.
There's a documentary saying they're gonna fire Kurtzman. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's a press conference. I'm just kidding. I have seen Patrick Stewart do his one-man Christmas Carol twice. It's fucking awesome. There's a CD of it. You can go buy the CD. It's brilliant. I listen to it every Christmas. Jacob Marley. Is Game of Tacos lesbian porn? Graham?
Well,
it's not just tacos. It's supposed to be fish tacos. Okay. Remember Rubio's?
Yeah.
Rubio's was a fish taco place. And they used to have this sticker that says, I love fish tacos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, the fish tacos are very good.
They're the best. I used to have the original ones before they turned into a big chain down in Pacific Beach.
Yeah.
George C. Scott is my Scrooge. DJ Odyssey, mine as well. Well, that and the original one not the original, the guy from the 30s,
Alistair
movie.
Sims.
Yes, God, that one's so good. I watched go on.
I know. I was just gonna say I love Albert Finney's Scrooge the musical because of the song "I Hate People." It's such a great holiday feel-good song.
It is. I love that story so goddamn much. I like all versions of it. I watch Scrooged every year, and yeah. Storm of Kings is the porn parody of Game of Thrones, allegedly. Mako says allegedly. I wouldn't know anything about it on all the episodes, on all the porn. Every year he performs a Christmas Carol in New York at off Broadway. Well, he used to do it in Westwood. Rob Shlomo, when he was filming Star Trek, he used to do it at UCLA every year. And I would drive up north and go see it. And it was great. I still have my program and everything. Star Wars is about the Jedi, not the Skywalkers. This is why Disney can't create the new Star Wars. Well, I mean, the expanded universe, yes. And if you're a fan of the expanded universe, yes. Lokta. But I'm talking like general audience executives, how the perception of Star Wars is the EU has a finite audience. It's still big. It still makes ton of money. But what the Skywalker fans, like the general audience, is 3 times that. It's huge. So they want if the EU made that kind of money, believe me, they wouldn't even be making anything around the Skywalkers right now. They wouldn't be going back to the Mandalorians and doing that shit. You know, like they which is still peripheral. It's between what, The Force Awakens and Last Jedi, or is it during The Force Awakens? I think it was after The Last Jedi, or not The Last Jedi, The Return of the Jedi. And they would be expanding more, which I would, God, that would get me to Kerrigan. I'm right there with you. I kind of want to know more about the galaxy than just that. And then they, killed all the canon so they could, basically use it. And then say, oh, it was us. That's why when you see Kurtzman titled show creator of Star Trek Discovery, facilitator, shitter, he shits on it. Yeah. You're multitasking. Yeah. Why are you tempting me? Must stay with Gary and Susan. OG Spock love. Well, unless it's live, you can watch it all the time. I'm sure there's one on YouTube, by the way. I love Scrooge with Bill Murray. Oh God, I love that movie. And it still stands up. It's a perfect representation of TV executives when he wants to, staple the antlers on the mouse's head. And Robert Mitchum tells him about dogs and cats are a growing audience. Don't program for them, but just every time something comes on, just show a pet or something walking across the screen. Show them what we're thinking about them. I mean, that shit's real. That's a funny thing. Hollywood can do great movies about Hollywood, but they can't do dramas about real people. Uncle Scrooge is the only good Scrooge. Uncle Scrooge or Scrooge McDuck? I like Scrooge McDuck. I do. All right, we got a Gremlins. Somebody just said Gremlins in the chat. I love that. I want Old Republic. That would be great. That would be great. Topless Kylo Ren. Oh baby.
Well,
with his grandpa pants on.
God.
Alex Turdsman, yes. Colonel Kurtzman. You guys are funny. If they remake Deep Space Nine, God help us. We need it now. Don't give them any ideas, please. Lee Majors. You've been a good boy this year, Lee. He did. What did he do?
Oh, no, I know he's in that. I'm just like, my heart just skipped a beat for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. You've been an awful good boy this year, Lee. You can't beat John Houseman, Buddy Hackett, and The Day the Reindeer Died. I know. So funny. Oh, and if you don't watch it, oh my God, going full CW. They predicted going full CW before CW. I love Gremlins. I fucking adore that movie. Let's remake Buck Rogers. Well, which one though? Are they still doing Gremlins 3? I still have nightmares of Ghostbusters Answer the Call. If they do Gremlins 3, it will be all female Gremlins. I know that. That's what I heard. I'm kidding. That's a lie. I don't know that. The Night the Reindeer Died. You know what's funny is that movie, which was a parody back then, they could actually do that right now. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. I'm sorry. PETA would get mad. There can be only one Cisco. You're damn right. Gremlins versus Gargoyles. I'd watch that, DJ Bowman. That's actually sounds kind of cool. Deep Space 69, the porn version, allegedly. Oh God. Which is my favorite Gremlin out of the two movies? I like Spike. Spike's the one with the mohawk, right?
Yep.
That's my favorite. Yep. The punk rock one. Although I have to say that for me, I mean, Gremlins is a goddamn classic, but I like Gremlins 2 just as much. And Phoebe Cates is my favorite Gremlin. Um, Spider
Wow.
Gremlin, that one was good. I like Phoebe Cates. I had a big old crush. I think
Everybody
all
loved
yeah.
Phoebe Cates.
Mary Ashmead says, "I love Gremlins. We had a cat named Gizmo. Did you feed it water after midnight?" The USS Pimp Hand and his epic starship, the USS Pimp Hand.
I like that.
Have I ever created my own superheroes? I have, DJ Bowman. I do not want to bore you with that stuff, though. I can tell you the ones I created when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I drew a comic. Okay, so the Cold War scared the shit out of me as a kid, so I expressed it through art. I also I lived near a nuclear power plant, and I don't know, when I was very young, I just thought those things could explode and make a nuclear explosion. So it always scared the crap out of me. So I did a comic called Super Gary. I had just watched Superman, the movie. So Super Gary gets his powers when he puts his glasses on. And then all the kids that picked on me at school were my arch villains. And my friend Dougie J, who shows up in this chat, he was in there too. And we were always fight the villains, and then at the end, it always involved stopping a nuclear bomb from going off. Every issue. It got a little redundant, but I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these comics, and I'm not kidding. They were 12-page comics, and I did 112 issues, and then my mom threw them all away.
Oh man.
Freaking mom. I still love you, Mom. I really do. But yeah, Super Gary. And of course, his sidekicks were like the Acrobat, who was basically a daredevil with a white costume, and then the Galactic Avenger, which is like the most generic superhero name ever. It's kind of one that you get like, they put on a soup can or something like that. Yeah. I drew Fat Man comics, which was a triple X version of Batman when I was a teen. Did you, Cajun? Yeah, I think all of us in our generation did something like that. Don't quote me on this, but I've seen some images. The paper's seen the set of Gotham series finale, which is simply, which will involve Hush. Oh, God. It's allowed to do it at once. I really wish DC would stop them from doing these storylines that would be good in a movie or something like that, and don't like half-ass do them on a TV show, and then it ruins them for later. Kind of like X-Men 3, even though it was a movie, doing the Dark Phoenix. The Toxic Avenger remake is coming, says Mr. Twisted 72. Is it? Is it Lloyd
It
Kaufman?
is. Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman is producing it, and it's being done by Legendary. And yeah, that's coming. There's no information as of yet, like release or anything, because it was just announced. So I imagine they'll be getting into pre-production, etc. So yeah, so that's Toxie's coming back.
That's great. And Lloyd Kaufman, young girls keep you young. You know what I'm saying? Lloyd Kaufman. Yeah, Toxic Avenger was fun. I remember when it came out. The USS Dolomite. Hell yeah, Dolomite's great. Dolomite is great. Best superhero from Cardiff was called Super Ted. Doctor Who, the Doctor. Reminds me of the last man on Earth to avoid all power plants. Yes, it is actually. If that happens, definitely. If we get if the I'm blanking on it now. If we get a solar flare and it knocks out all our power, yeah, stay the hell away from a nuclear power plant. That's for sure. All right, so this is a good time. We're going to get through a little bit of chat, and then I'm going to read to you because it's so good. This Doctor Who article. I think it was Joe on Twitter. Joe on Twitter. Joe, if you're out there, it's just plain Joe. I'm just plain Joe. Christ Almighty.
I'll just be stabbing my eyes out with my pen while you're reading that.
Yeah. I got some ad blasting at my ear right now. Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't want to. There we go. Glad we went through that. That was fun. Just Plain Joe shot this to me. He's been shooting me a lot of great Doctor Who news lately. It's been awesome. Yeah, if you guys see stuff, shoot it to me. Sometimes I'm too busy actually making videos to look at the stuff I'm supposed to be looking at. Poor Susan's had to get the news like a couple hours beforehand because I've been late, but I'll be working on that next week. We actually got a lot to talk about. We should kind of get to it. But we'll get to the Who. Did you read the woo-woo article I sent you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get to that later. We got a woo-woo article to make up for no woo-woo on Wednesday. We got some woo-woo. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I wasn't sure if you wrote on it or not, or is that something you would write on? Do you, I mean, is that up to you to write woo-woo on 1428, or does it have to fit into a certain parameter?
No. Basically, whatever I come across, like if it's UFO related, paranormal related, I'll write about it. Because it's interesting, and it seems to me that the viewers like reading about too. So yeah, it just has to be a very interesting story. Like the latest thing I did was Luis Elizondo just did an interview with George Knapp, and he says that details are forthcoming in 2019 about UFOs from the government. Some sort of disclosures coming.
Yeah, we're supposedly getting like a very slow disclosure. I'll
Yep.
believe that when I see it, but I mean, for me, I don't need it. I don't need them to tell me. I don't believe the official events from governments anyway. So I mean, I really mistrust, but I like him, and George Knapp is solid. George Knapp is solid. So yeah, but let's get to the Doctor Who article, and then we'll get to the woo woo.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do the Doctor Who article first. And this is guys and gals. This is not this when I read this does not reflect the opinions of the Nerdrotic channel. You'll understand when I read it. Doctor. So basically, before I get started, it goes with my title. They're course correcting hard. It is my after I read the article, I will give you my speculation on the real reason they did not have a Christmas special and the ramifications of that. So let's get to the article. Doctor Who's most terrifying challenge yet in a New Year's special. Finding a better writer? No, that's not it. Something wicked this way comes in the Doctor Who New Year's special, written by showrunner Chris Chibnall. An appalling writer. Oh, no, it says an appalling ancient evil. Sorry, my bad. Is being awakened as the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, Ryan, Tosh Cole, Graham, yay, Bradley Walsh, and Yaz, Mandeep Gill come back down to Earth. They're confronted by the most terrifying challenge yet, satisfying fans. No, the episode showcases what a breath of fresh air Whittaker I can barely read this. The episode showcases what a breath of fresh air Whittaker represents in the role of the Time Lord, the 36-year-old actress who has widely acclaimed for her performance as the 13th Doctor. I believe it's still 32% audience score. Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't checked lately. Who has been widely, brings a refreshing, youthful vitality and optimism to the TARDIS. I just dropped my mouse. Sorry. You think I'm new at this shit or something? Her charismatic vivacity has revived interest in the show throughout the galaxy. Whittaker, who was well known for her role in Broadchurch, also written by Chibnall, is delighted by the response to her as the first female Doctor after 55 years of man in the role. I'm proud, she says. When I was growing up, it was the white guys running about, saving the day and doing really cool stuff. And as a girl, you were lucky if you just sat on the side and clapped. To be in the moment of change for that is incredibly exciting. Jodie, you're white. I don't know if anybody's told you, but you're white. And I don't know when I'm going to say it's 2015 when people just started like doing this shit again. white guys, white this, black that, and like, never mind, whatever. So yeah, Jodie's white. Apparently, she doesn't know it. The actress who uses her native Yorkshire accent in the role. Wow,
How brave.
how brave! She uses her native accent. Yay, Jodie! Says that her casting is in line with the tradition of Doctor Who being different for more from more conventional dramas. Really? Okay. Uh, there's the chiseled superhero that we're used to seeing and we've all grown up with with Doctor Who. Is she still talking about Doctor Who, Susan?
No, I think she veered off to Superman for a moment.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, like I've been watching Doctor Who and he's always some kind of
Dork.
dork. Yeah, he's an academic dork that we like. But Doctor Who has never been that. Okay, there you go. Which is wonderful in its attainability to so many. And now, isn't it just attainable for half the population? The other half can be the Doctor as well. Girls will no longer just think, "Oh, I could just be his companion." Being the first female Doctor and showing children that their heroes in shows don't always look the same is a huge honor for me. Okay. So you're teaching girls that it's not okay to not look the same because you just said it's okay for your heroes not to look the same, and you're if you're a little girl, you're not the same as a man. See, but now you're just teaching them your heroes have to look the same. Actually, that's kind of what Hollywood and the BBC are teaching with this whole only black people can write about black people and only Asian people can write about Asian people, and you're actually teaching the opposite. But I'm an idiot for pointing that out. Never mind. All the same, Whittaker admits she felt the burden of exception as she became the first female owner of the sonic screwdriver. We've seen that sonic screwdriver, by the way. Do I need to bring up a picture? I probably shouldn't.
No.
No. The pressure of any actor coming to the role, man or woman, is huge because they're big boots to fill. And for me, there's been 12 pairs of boots. Well, 13 if you count the guest star of the 50th anniversary of the John Hurt. Probably somebody had to probably remind her of that, or the editor filled that in. Then we could throw in David Bradley from the last Christmas special. That's a lot of boots. However, the actress carries on. I was obviously delighted when my name was announced. I wasn't completely slated. Everyone I spoke to was like, people love you. As long as most people are happy, I'm all right with that because the fans are so loyal and so passionate, and it's a huge deal for them. And obviously for Whovians, the time for change has taken a very different direction than it has before. She adds, though, the fact that she can now rewrite the rules. I'm going to have to read that again. She adds, though, the fact that she can now rewrite the rules of the role from scratch is very freeing. In a way, there is a liberation with the new direction. The pressure is less for me. I can only do this my way. All the rules are out the window. That's what makes it so fun. Okay, so to bring in the first female Doctor, we had to throw the rules out the window. She was, of course, had to do her native Yorkshire accent because she couldn't do another accent. I thought she was like Shakespearean trained or something like that. Okay, I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know. Peter Capaldi used his native accent as well, too, right? So
Yeah,
he's Scottish. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. But David Tennant did not. We just want to point out. Fun is a good word that defines Whittaker's interpretation of the role. And the great thing is, whatever else happens, being Doctor Who is like being the U.S. president, a job for life.
Oh God.
The U.S. president is a job.
No, they have that all wrong.
Actually, only 8 years. You mean you're taken care of for life, and you get to go to yeah. You know what? Don't remind me of that. So the actress who co-starred on Broadchurch and previous Time Lord, David Tennant, sums up her joy of being a member of this exclusive club. the thing that was so brilliant about being being the part, and something now, because I know David Tennant, is that once you're in the family, you're never out. Oh my God, why are they reminding me of this? I could never, I could be 80 years old and still be referred to as the doctor.
Oh Lord.
To know that you're always welcome in this world is extraordinary. Here's the deal. In 80 years, because of this, nobody's going to give a wet slap about Doctor Who. That's kind of what I'm worried about. Whether you like Jodie or not, she hasn't been good. Okay. Um, oh my God, I got to get off this stupid website. Ugh, it keeps blasting ads in my ear. Did we lose everybody?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just like was worried there. Holy shit. My lord. My
Well,
lord.
this whole thing, I mean, this article purports that it's going to talk about the New Year's special. So you go into it thinking, okay, what are we going to learn about this that, we don't know? Is there some new information? And then it goes sideways and starts turning into a PR piece about how, Jodie is great and all these accolades, and when it's like, this is just pure PR. And when we look at the truth of it, I have seen that the ratings have gone up slightly in the UK, but not here. Not that it matters over here. It's more, they're more concerned with, where the origin of it is. But I mean, it isn't universally praised. She's not universally praised for her portrayal. So we really are selling this Doctor Who very, very hard. I don't know if they're trying to, sell her for, yeah, Penn Farm Girl says Rotten Tomatoes at 31%. Okay. So there's not a vote of confidence right there. And I know the industry looks at that. And I don't know. To me, it was just much ado about nothing, and trying to pump her up and all this stuff about, girls needing heroes, etc., etc. You know what? We didn't have a lot of women here. And now here I sound like my parents, but I don't give a shit. When I was growing up, we didn't have a dearth of female heroes. Okay.
No, you did.
So when I played in the schoolyard, I played Star Trek. I was Captain Kirk. Yeah, he's a male, but still, you could aspire to something. You knew you couldn't be Captain Kirk, but you could be like Captain Kirk. And now I guess we're going to have little girls pretending that they're Jodie, yada, yada. And it's just, I don't know. That
No,
whole piece was just poorly constructed.
it was. And I'll use the other side's own argument against them. They will say, Gary, why do you care? It shouldn't matter if it's a boy or girl. And my argument was I was going back and forth with somebody when I said guys are not going to wear Doctor Who shirts with the new logo. I'd say, well, women would wear other Doctor Who logos, but guys will not wear this shirt. Yes, there'll be a few outliers, but mostly dudes will not wear this shirt. And the argument was, well, why does it matter? Why does it matter? And I throw that argument right back in their face. If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. Why can't we keep the role just male? If it doesn't matter, then a girl, like you said, can just pretend she's a guy. A guy can pretend she's a girl. There's nothing that's stopping a little girl from pretending she's Spider-Man. Nothing in the world except her imagination. So do we need to change Spider-Man into a woman? Well, we created a female character. And that would be my argument with this. Create a female. Well, you don't need to create one. They exist. You could just pluck from what you have. You could just give her a series, make her more. This isn't about power. Okay. Not at least for me. You could make her smarter, better, more powerful than a doctor. Wouldn't care. Wouldn't give two shits. It's not about that. It's about, it was agenda driven. That's why you take something away from somebody to give to somebody else because you think it's fair. And that's what they've come out and said. It's time. It's fair. Not really. I mean, what you did was you just fucked up a product that's been around for 55 years. You smart people, you. And yeah, you're going to see your legacy in 5 years when the show's not on the fucking air. And, Doctor Who can survive. Don't get me wrong. It can survive. I mean, we're just going to have to look at this as a period that happened. And, maybe it's not the last time. Who knows? But Doctor Who fans, and I think they figured this too, would be the ones who would be most acceptable of a change like this. And it turns out it's not the case. I think a lot of people were just quiet. I think that was simply it. A lot of people were just quiet because of the clapback they were going to get. I certainly was in the beginning. I'm not now. And that 31% that I'm just going to keep up there for a little while, that's dropped a percentage point in the last, 48 hours. It was at 33 when I was doing my video 3 days ago. I did a video, a week ago, that it was at 45%. It has dropped 14%. And that's with my video out there getting it's at 83,000 views. So a few people have seen it. You think that would muster up the Doctor Who fans to come out in defense. Where are they? I mean, they know it's there, and it takes you 2 seconds to write a 5-star review. So I don't know. That's just.
I mean, speaking of it coming from the female perspective, I don't have anything against Jodie Whittaker. I don't know her personally. I don't have anything against her abilities as an actress. What I don't like is now what used to be an enjoyable program for me, something that I looked forward to watching, I no longer enjoy because it's infused with someone hitting me over the head, telling me this is wrong. This behavior pattern is wrong. You must think like this. I feel like I'm sitting and watching, I'm suddenly in A Clockwork Orange every time I watch Doctor Who. I don't need to be taught these things. I went to school, thanks. I had parents that taught me these things. Hollywood, you don't have to teach me, okay? You don't have to teach half of the world. You think that by doing this, by infusing messages into every single damn show, that somehow that's going to absolve you of your wrongdoing, of what's happened in Hollywood, of Harvey Weinstein and all that crap. Okay, well, the mea culpa time is over with. Can we please start to get back to storytelling? Quit telling me how to feel. Tell me how to think. Let's just write a story and let's just, get back to story driven and good writing and everything. And, for somebody who said Audit Watch or Jodie's acting, you think it's okay. No, I'm not talking about Doctor Who. I just said I don't really watch her as an actress. I'm not really enamored with the show. I have a lot wrong with her portrayal of the character. She's playing it like she's trying to be David Tennant. She's not being true to the character itself. It feels like she's trying to approximate what she thinks Doctor Who is, and it leaves the audience feeling as if, she has no clue as to what she's even doing. So I don't know. That's personally how I feel. I know it's probably not the PC thing. It's probably not what people want to hear, but I'm sorry. That's the problem now. We've forgotten how to be entertained. We can't laugh anymore. We can't say anything anymore. It's like being in George Orwell's 1984.
It really is. We've got thought police on Twitter already. We've got language police. And it's not even, listen, I'm not saying I disagree with some of the stuff that's brought up, but for Christ's sake, it's just a matter of, I don't like people telling me what to do. I just straight up, I'm firmly against people telling me what to do and how to think, even if it's something I might agree with. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. What's up? The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews. John Campia told me not to worry about the Rotten Tomatoes audience score because people can just make multiple accounts to drive the score. They can, But who would do that? Who would really do that? I mean, what do you gain? Actually, on the other hand, and I know John Campea said that, and I'm sure you retorted to him that people can do the same the other way. And honestly, if I was a company, a multi-billion-dollar company, I could hire somebody at $18 an hour to make up accounts to drive reviews up. It'd be very cheap. If you got 10 people to do that for 8 hours a day for 3 weeks, you'd do pretty good. Get some VPNs. It's possible. What's your motivation to bring it down? I'm sure some people do that. I'm sure, but I don't think it's enough to bring it down to that level. I don't think so. Because they're not making any money off this. So to be right? I don't buy that. But I know what you're saying, John. I see where you're coming from, though. John Campea said it, so there you go. Good old John Campea. He's a straight shooter when it comes to Star Wars, right, Susan?
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I'm going to sound like a jerk, but who is this guy? Sorry.
John Campea. He's Star Wars. He's a Star Wars guy.
Ah, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Okay. I'm good. I had to go find. I just lost my whole thing, and I need to get that back now. Give me just a second. Read some chat, Susan.
Oh, sure. Okay. Has anyone here made multiple accounts? Thomas William wants to know to get Jodie sacked. No, as far as we know, no, that hasn't happened. Yeah, it seems like it could. And what Gary, what you were talking about with Rotten Tomatoes, I could see people creating fake accounts to save a show, but not in this case. And Gamer Gambit, thank you for the $5 super chat. We're being treated as children who cannot think. Many businesses call us consumers instead of customers, as we cannot think for ourselves. And you're exactly right, because to Hollywood, we are consumers. And Cajun 451 says, I got better things to do with my time than make multiple accounts. Me too, Cajun. Me too.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. At worst, I could see somebody making 2 if they got the time to, but I mean, that takes time. People don't like to secure their crap online. I mean, like,
Marcus Kahn says, how can there be such a big disconnect between critics and audiences with Doctor Who? It depends on what your publication gets from the BBC and Doctor Who to promote it. That's what it comes down to. A lot of these outlets that you see that are very pro, and that's not to say everybody's like this, but a lot of the bigger outlets that you see, they get special perks, special, exclusives, things of that nature. And it's not lost on the people that don't give that. Unfortunately, that don't get that. Unfortunately, they're not the ones getting the views. Yep. They're not getting the reads. It's the more prominent ones.
Yep. Absolutely. We are, for the first time on Friday Night Tights in a year, we are demonetized, like fully. Like usually it's like for the first 5 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, I got, I'm not a big complainer of YouTube. I am actually very grateful for being on this platform. Grateful for all the subscribers we've had. But it was a full moon tonight. It was a big full moon. You could see it like over the horizon here in San Francisco, and it looks huge. It was awesome and explains a lot. My website went down yesterday, and apparently my theme, I have to pay for a theme every year for my website. It didn't auto renew for some reason, so they just shut down my website, and I had to call. Had help from Cato Roan. Thank you, Cato, love you, man. And also had help from Movie Finobi, and we got it back up, but they had to manually put it back up. And then today there was another subscriber scrub, which happens every week on YouTube. They take out the spam, but and they did a big one last weekend. Well, I guess they saved the big one for me this weekend because they took 95 subs. They were gone. Boom. Thanos snapped right out of there. And then we're getting demonetized now. So I don't know if it's that we've gotten somebody's attention or it's just a bad luck day, and that's fine. They happen. They happen. I felt like until I started the show tonight, I felt kind of off center. You know, I feel centered now, but
kind of confused. Why would we be demonetized?
I don't know. It's that's the confusing thing. Like sometimes if I put in like a racy title or something like that, but no, there's no reason. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it'll come around. They'll review it and then they'll put it back up. But there was no notification. When you get demonetized on live stream and it starts live stream, you don't get notification. Did anybody get a notification? BBC is on to me. Well, KZ Bay. I mean, like, I don't want to I don't want to sound that way. I know they've noticed. They've actually noticed. So I got confirmation of that. And that felt kind of weird and kind of, yeah. And not as good as I thought it would feel. I'm like,
Probably
they did.
not.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But I just wanted to get to the so I don't miss. I'm like horrible at missing the super chats. Pam Farm Girl. Sorry that I missed it. But you mentioned it. $2 super chat, 31%. And of course, the Dr. 14 Blu-rays for £5. Thank you. And Gamer Gambit for $5. We are being like children. Yeah, like you said. Sorry. And yes, I hate that word consumers. I despise that word consumers. We're this giant like mouth that you just throw shit into. And that gets openly talked about on the news and everything. I think it's horrible. I think it's terrible.
Yeah, but that's the way that Hollywood is now. It's always been a business, but I think lately it's turned into more so of a business and less concern about what their product is. So if we're consumers, then we need better product.
Yeah. Well, we're consumers and there's a huge disconnect with us now. Like they don't, well, you can see it. I mean, I'll bring it back up and you know what? We'll bring up I'll bring up the Rotten Tomatoes again. And we're going to look at it compared to, Star Wars, Star Trek Discovery and see the divide on those because it's the same. Actually, Doctor Who's gotten way worse than them. But it's pretty bad. And it's been like this for a year. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, thanks, OG Spock, for the $2. I'm sick of being called a male misogynist.
Yes. And the stuff that I'm getting now is pretty incredible, but I mean, I knew I would, so that's fine. Why don't the BBC take a break on Doctor Who? Like they did in 1989, if they don't know how to make a new stories. Lokta, I could not agree more. And that saddens me to say, but actually giving this show a break would, them calling it fresh. And I hate this. Like what Jodie said in that article is so fucking disrespectful. Like Peter Capaldi and the people who came before that. It was basically a slap in his face. They've been talking shit about Moffat. They've been talking shit about Peter Capaldi. They're calling her young and vibrant. Peter was running more than she was. I tell you that right now. That 55-year-old was running around more than she was. Tamarocks. Early Merry Christmas. Thank you, Tamarocks. Thank you for the $50.
Wow, thank you.
Jesus Christ. Hail Tamarocks, my friend. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And listen, I really appreciate them, but they are not required. Okay. We read your chat. We try to read everybody's chat. If you really need to get Minor Susan's attention, hit at Susan or at Nerdrotic Channel, at Susan Layton, and it kind of highlights for us. And it's makes it a little easier for us to see direct questions if that's possible.
Thanks, Mary Ashmead, $2. We are customers, not consumers. We pay for products.
Treat them with respect. I did a video today on just how, and Susan knows. Susan's like, oh, listen, there's a lot of good eggs in the media. Okay, there are. I hope I didn't make it sound like they're all like that. The whole point of my video was to show how easy it was to spin a narrative. I did freaking 10 minutes of work to spin that narrative. And then we had a guy, Matt Miller, spin a narrative that was so fucking dishonest, and then relating a friend of mine to an argument that stuff he's never said, made me a little mad. So not that Doomcock does not need my defending ever. I did that all on my own. And they kind of lumping us in the same thing too. They're lumping, we've already had another YouTuber lump us in that category. I won't say his or her name, but we already have. And that's fine. We don't speak ill of other YouTubers. I'm holding to that, even if they talk shit about us. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Lloyd. Just simply Lloyd. I spend my money on things I want, not on stuff I don't want. This doesn't mean I'm a bigot. It just means I have taste.
Nice.
I should have given you a warning. Simply, that's it. And to make those broad generalizations and then go, well, I'm not talking about everybody. I mean, well, that's just dishonest. But it also fucks with people like Susan, who, Susan works her ass off, tries to be honest, actually takes her job seriously. Like she's impartial, and she's honest. That's why we like her. That's why I like you.
Thank you. Matt Miller's article, for many reasons, I kind of on Twitter, I kind of jumped into a discussion about it because I know everybody was fired up, but my take on it was, don't give him the satisfaction of views, because the more you push back about it, the more views he's going to get, the more bullshit he's going to write. And it's all about views. It's all about, being controversial. He may actually feel that way, but then he came out with a rebuttal and he just wants to keep the party going. It's the end of the year. We have to do something sensational. It's Esquire, views, all that crap. Yeah, I just would, he'll fade. He'll fade.
I totally agree with that. And that was in the back of my mind during that video. I'm just like, I'm going to ghost the dude from now on. I'm not tweeting at him or anything after this. Yeah. And I probably gave him way too much attention. But I kind of wanted to show that it was eerie to see the same argument on both sides of the pond, that any kind of dissent for a TV show is part of this weird it's the right wing infiltrating our media, when the same argument could be made. Actually, that's actually what's being made, is there is one-sided politics infiltrating our actual entertainment. So they're saying one-sided politics is infiltrating criticism. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. I'm not going to lie to you folks, but it's certainly not where we're coming from, or I hate to speak. Doomcock does not come from that place. World Class Bullshitters does not come from that place. A lot of us don't. Midnight's Edge does not come from that place at all. And it's bogus. And the thing is, like, here on YouTube, I am a fan. That's all I am. I'm not media or anything like that. I am simply a fan. And I'll take it. I'll take that stuff personally, especially when they throw that out there. And as well as anybody else, that people mostly just read the headlines and then the one right below it. What's that called? The byline? What's it?
Yeah.
The byline. Yeah.
They don't. It's amazing, because a lot of times when I'll tweet out an article of mine, somebody will say something, completely contrary to what the article's about. And then it's like, did you even read this article? No, you didn't. Well, go back and read it, Sunshine, because you have the totally different idea of what it's about. Just briefly, Perpetual Punster, thank you so much for the $13.13. Susan Gary, you two keep on being you.
Perpetual Punster, I adore you. That is fucking funny.
Marcus Kahn, thank you for the $5 for your demonetization compensation. Your works is noticed for the good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we are more than compensated. Even with $5, that's pretty much all you make off one of these videos. But except for the one that that had over 100,000 views, that one did okay, man. I can see why people like those videos that do that well. Jesus Christ. So I'm marveling at this, because I've never really looked at this, and And the Return of the Jedi has an 81%, but The Force Awakens has 93 and The Last Jedi is 91. And oh wait, Rogue One has a higher percentage than The Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
Somewhere I crossed into a different reality at some point, I think. Don't we all kind of feel that way at some point? Guys, thank you for all the super chats. You're fucking awesome. But okay, so let's get to this. God dang. What's the Force Awakens audience score? I'm curious about that. 87%. Yeah, people like that movie. I did not. But if people were on some kind of terror to bring the score down, why wouldn't they bring down the Force Awakens one too? You know what I mean? It's 45%. It's pretty much held steady there. 45%. Okay, so Star Trek Discovery. Let's go.
Thank you, OG Spocklove. $2 for all you both do to entertain and inform us. Thank you.
Thank you, OG Spocklove. You're awesome, by the way. And oh, look, the tomato meter is not available.
For what?
For Star Trek. Oh, there. I hit top critics. It's 71%. All critics is not available. I think some critics maybe change their reviews a little bit. 71%. That's a little more realistic, to be honest with you. I still way too much, but it's not the, what was it, guys? It was way higher than that. It was like 80 something percent. That's interesting. I can't click on them though.
I really would love to know what their algorithm is what their formulas are at Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, because
there it is. Yeah, I don't know either. You got to click on the season. I'm dumb. Yeah, that's more like it. That's still way too high. 55%. I don't know how it works either. Hey, I didn't give it 3 stars. You got to give it a star there. Post. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. But this one, I don't think it's that. Just in my experience over the last 3 years, I've been paying attention with the audience score feels very correct. I think they're spot on, to be honest with you. I think 87% of people actually did like The Force Awakens. I was part of that 23% that didn't, or 13%. Sorry, 13% that, my math sucks. That didn't. But I can buy that people were fired up about it. It had Harrison Ford in it, one of the dumbest fucking deaths ever. But the split, with Jedi's got 40, or The Last Jedi has 45%. We got this big, huge split. The Ghostbusters split is pretty big too. And that's honestly where all this shit started. It's really, really. I have not seen this movie all the way through. Okay, I have not. Doomcock was going to do a roundtable on it, and he said, somebody talked to me into doing it, so I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And I don't know if I watched a third of it. I couldn't finish it. It was bad. It was just horribly, horribly, horribly bad. And I don't plan on ever finishing it. Yeah. So 74% to 51%. That's not a huge divide, but I can't believe 51% liked it, to be honest with you, on that audience score. But Susan, how much of a percentage of this is just ideological, you think? How many people are just supporting Doctor Who because it's a woman, period? That's it, no matter what.
I couldn't say what the percentage is, but I honestly think that a lot of it is ideological because people are so afraid to speak out anymore for repercussions. Like if you say that you're not enamored with Doctor Who and you're a woman, then you must be a closet misogynist. If you're a man and you're not enamored with the direction that Doctor Who is going in, not because of Jodie, but because you don't like the storylines, what have you, then you're obviously part of the patriarchy, part of the problem, part of, being a misogynist. And I think it has a lot to do with people do not want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the fact that this show is bad. Why is this show bad? Because it doesn't work. The writing isn't there. The acting is not there. They don't want to hear that. So they're going to twist it and turn it, and it's all going to be about ideology and if you're not on board. And that's why a lot of people stay silent, because they don't want the repercussions.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's part of the shill we talk about. It's out of kind of fear. It's, a little bit. Here's the $5.99 that I didn't spend on CBS All Access, says Mr. Zedblade. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. DeForce 10, 2 pounds. Feels like we're in Black Mirror. We're in a Black Mirror episode. It really does. Tech gone wrong. Absolutely. Holy shit. This one is the biggest what the frack in the history of the site. I almost should do. Has anybody done a video on the critics reviews of this show? I'm feeling like I should read their reviews before season 2 starts. I'm going to pick some top critics. I don't know. I think a lot of people reviewed this. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think some people, this is just I don't know this for a fact. This is just my speculation. Some critics, jump on things a little too early. They get to see stuff early. And I think some critics write what they think the audience wants to hear. And listen, it was kind of split on this. People were like, this looks lame. I'm not saying everybody was like this. I'm going to say it was 50-50. People were kind of meh. I was one of those people. I got sold. It took a couple episodes, and I adore this show. This is one of my favorite shows on the air right now. Top 3, easy. But I wasn't sold at first, and not a Seth MacFarlane fan.
I think what people were afraid of is he was going to turn it into the Family Guy. He was going to turn it into a parody. They didn't know what to expect. But when I went into it, and I'm not saying this because I adore Seth, I'm saying this because I had a belief in my heart, because he's such a passionate Star Wars, Star Trek fan and a true fan, that he would do this justice. And I was on board right away. And I'm so glad that I watched it, because I think it's our Star Trek. This is our Star Trek. This is the Star Trek we deserve. And, I'm glad that the Orville's there, because it makes up for a lot of what's going on with that franchise that, I grew up loving.
There, I just posted the Star Trek fans deserve. Thank you, Seth. And 93% audience score. This is a bigger split than anything. Yeah, I should maybe do a video on that. I don't know.
Because critics don't like Seth. They don't like Seth.
Yeah. And, I didn't either. I'm not a Family Guy guy. I've told you, it's like, I am not, and not everybody likes it. Destiny Captain doesn't like the Orville. And listen, the Orville is it. I mean, most of the episodes, were Next Generation episodes. They're kind of rewritten Next Generation episodes. I don't care. I simply don't care. It's good. It's funny, but not too funny. I hope they don't. I'm with Doomcock. I hope they don't dial back the humor too much. Thank you, OG Spock Club. My wife took that downtown with her iPhone. I was happy that day. I'm happy every day, to be honest with you. But I like The Money Pit. I thought that was a good movie. I think The Money Pit's a very good movie. Wasn't it a flop though? Was it a flop? I thought it was a hit. I think
at the time it was kind of mediocre, middle of the road.
My favorite line is the plumber wants me to sleep with him. Well, maybe just this once, if you can get a discount. I'm currently living in one right now, KSS. So I really kind of feel like I want to watch that movie. Listen, you don't have to love the Orville, but I freaking do. And I'm definitely gonna read some of the top critics' negative reviews of the Orville. That will be my pre game for the Orville on the 30th, and we will take them to task. Somebody took me to task saying that I am attacking people by reading their opinions from a review. No, I'm not. I'm attacking opinions. They when you publish something online, it is free to be attacked. And absolutely, but I'm not attacking people. I have not gotten personal with anybody. I've joked around a little bit. Hell, I even wished Lucy and Matt a Merry Christmas today, although they probably don't celebrate it, but that's fine. Yeah, I just think it's travesty. That's a bigger travesty than all the other ones. The big that split right there, I think, shows more than anything the divide between customer and Hollywood. And these writers, we're your customers. They're not writing for us. When was the last time they wrote for us? And certain, not all of them. Susan writes for us, but like especially at the big websites, they're writing for each other. You know, and that's what it feels like. Like this is a Doctor Who made for the executives at the BBC and critics. It's not a Doctor Who made for us. It's not a Star Trek made for us. I don't know.
It's made for somebody, but it's not made for the people that were the core audiences for it.
Yeah, yeah, Frakes made Thunderbird. Yeah, Frakes is not a god. Okay, he's done some turds. He's a good guy, and you know, honestly, the most watchable, which is, I mean, the most watchable episode of Star Trek Discovery was directed by him. It's the one that almost felt like a Star Trek episode, but I mean, you know, just in look and feel. All the times the actors were saying stuff, it didn't feel like it. But all the, you know, the times between them speaking words, you know, when they're walking down a hallway and stuff, kind of felt like Star Trek. Maybe I'm reaching here, folks.
I mean, I just think back to how Frakes he had to basically, you know, campaign to get them to even consider him to direct an episode. And I thought that was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like he's Jonathan Frakes. Okay. Yeah, like you pointed out, he's made some missteps, but every director has. But he's part of Star Trek. He gets Star Trek. Okay. And if he's got it, I mean, if I were Alex Kurtzman and Jonathan Frakes is like, hey, I want to direct an episode, I'd be like, come on board.
Fuck yeah.
He would have been the first person I probably would have called. He not only did shows like he not only does Star Trek, but he did The Librarians, he did Burn Notice. He has a pedigree and he can go outside genres. So you know he's got the goods and you know he's a Star Trek person. Take him, you know, because chances are he'll look at a script and he'll go, this doesn't feel right.
Well, that's it. That's why they didn't take him. That's why they probably made him campaign, because he wasn't part of that inner circle. I mean, if you look at the Bad Robot inner circle and who's in this, it is like a clique. It is the same people. Akiva Goldsman gets in there, but Frakes has to fucking campaign. Are you kidding me? What a joke.
Yeah.
The BBC doesn't need to make money, says Andrew. That is true. Which that makes it more difficult to try to change things. It's kind of impossible. It's like trying to get PBS to change. And public broadcasting system is the closest thing to BBC. I don't know what they're related. I always thought that they were a government-run agency, but the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey corrected me and said no, they're a private corporation and they're run by a lord. But so I got to actually look into it. I never cared as much before. Brian Smart, good to see you, my friend, one of our oldest subscribers, the man who reminded me there was a chat during live streams. Brian, love you, man. Nerdrotic channel. The reason Rotten Tomatoes trashes Orville is because Seth has the balls to expose Hollywood for what they are openly. And I have to admit, Brian, I heard him make those jokes at the Academy Awards and stuff, and I didn't think much of them until after the Harvey Weinstein thing. And that is part of the reason I like the guy now. His respect went way up for me when I was reminded through YouTube that he made those jokes before and they ended up being like true, which makes you wonder about the other jokes I almost want to go back and rewatch that Oscars to hear his jokes, or maybe there's just a YouTube video of
I
him.
loved his take. I thought he was one of the best hosts. I love the bit where he had William Shatner coaching him through the Oscars. I just absolutely love that. Yeah, he's gonna be not gonna be a critic's darling because of certain topics that he's touched upon on Family Guy. Family Guy's definitely not PC. So, that's a problem right there.
No, and neither is Shatner.
No.
I should read the article. I have it pinned. We can read it later of him coming into the fence of "Baby, It's Cold Outside."
Oh,
Um,
Shatner will up front when you go to his Twitter feed. He tells you on his board, his banner, if you talk politics, I will ban you. You're done.
I
And I
love that.
respect that about him. I don't want to see actors talk about politics 24/7. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Entertain us. It doesn't mean you can't have a thought because they get all pissed off when you say that. It's just like, can you just act maybe? I don't want to hear you on Twitter. And it seems like now they're all on Twitter tweeting about all this political shit because things are on hiatus. Don't you have jobs that you can do?
What, what
I don't know.
what gets to me is like when people get, especially on Facebook, when people get political and stuff, they don't seem to notice that they get the lowest amount of likes or no shares at all. They just keep doing it. But then when they post like a picture of their puppy or something positive, they get like tons of likes. It's like, you're not seeing this. I mean, it's an audience. They don't care though. They don't care. 2 years ago, actors used to like really be hesitant about this stuff. I remember Harrison Ford used to not give reviews,
Yeah.
interviews, on the advice of his agent. And then when we finally heard Harrison Ford talk, we understood why. We did. We go,
Yeah.
okay. I'm kind of wishing he didn't give interviews anymore.
Yeah.
I uh, Thank you, Brian Smart, by the way. The BBC has to make certain ratings or their shows to justify their expenses. The finances are listed publicly. Oh, they are. Gamer Gambit, you just gave me an idea. I wonder, can I look at past stuff publicly too? Man, I spent a day trying to dig around. To see what the actual Marvel Comics profits are and stuff for Disney. It's supposed to be there somewhere, but I can't find it. They probably have it buried in some subset of some other company. If BBC is not government run, why do they have to pay? Why do we have to pay a license fee to own a TV, and the license fee goes to the BBC? Cynical Lindsay. That's a good question. That's why I always assumed it was government run, but somebody said it wasn't. I have a feeling it's a private corporation that's government run. That's my feeling. But you guys who live over there, and we have a lot of UK viewers. So like, correct me on that one. I'd love to know. And if anybody knows where I could look at those public, I could Google it, Thunderbirds was worse than the 1998 Lost in Space. Yes, it was, Matthew. Yes, it was. By the way, trivia on the 1998 Lost in Space. What's the movie famous for? What's it famous for? Dun, dun, dun. It was the first movie to dethrone Titanic at the number one spot in the box office, which the movie was released in April. And the reason it's burned into my brain is I could not believe when I was seeing Titanic was number one from November to April, which we just won't see anymore, ever. And it was mind blowing that it was making so much money. It made more money after New Year's. Like it was a hit. It was still a hit, but I mean, it exploded, and it kind of showed Hollywood, and they haven't done this since. Black Panther kind of did this a little bit. Is like, release your big budget movies in fucking January with no competition, and they had no competition for months. And then the first movie that was like, it had Gary Oldman in it when he was popular, and Matthew LeBlanc, and I mean the movie sucked, but yeah, it dethroned Titanic for the number one spot in the box office. We should be able to tip the wrenches. OG Spock Love, I like that idea a lot. We should submit that to YouTube. Bless you. Mrs. Neurotic sneezed. Could you hear it? I don't know if you could hear
Yes,
it.
it was very
Yeah. Truth Apocalypse says, "Who are you people?" I don't know. I don't know. Weinstein's behavior was an open secret in Hollywood for many years, Gary. Yes, I knew that, CD Horde. But we didn't know the
extent of it.
extent of it. Okay. If you look back, CD Horde, at one of his jokes, it's very specific. And yeah. No, I still fully believe speculation here, allegedly, all the words. Harvey Weinstein's had people whacked. I mean, he looks like the kind of guy who's had people whacked. Allegedly. Some mediocre TV and pass you by. Movies do not make the next Spielberg. Good luck, Jar Jar Abrams. Exactly. Exactly, Bazopoulos. Thank you. Talking about JJ. Yeah. These are dark times, Gary. How can we joke about it? People have to butt chug twice per week instead of 3 times now. This is Mako. I know, right? I know. I hear these actors talking about these hard times we live in the socioeconomic, and then we're gonna have a strike in Hollywood.
Oh God.
Okay, and I got to look at the article. Is it writer's strike or is it?
It's twofold. It's a twofold. It's like, okay, you've got the writers are striking against agencies because they're tired of the packaging deals that these agencies get. Like William Morris and creative artists have deals with Netflix and Hulu, and they're getting into content production. So they'll get these nice little neat packages together with, directors and all their clients, and they'll present it. And basically what it sounds like to me is it's a battle. It's an inherent conflict of interest that the writers want their piece of the pie. They want their share. So you've got that writer's strike, and now you've got actors against ad agencies. Now, this one isn't quite as disruptive as the writer's strike. From what I understand, it happens like all the time. And what it is basically they're telling commercial shoots wrap up before March 31st. This is going to happen probably because the commercial contract expires. But then they'll get together, they'll come to an agreement, and then everything will be Jake again. But with the writer's strike and the packaging, they tried it once before, it didn't work. And now they're doing it again. And I don't know if it's going to work in anybody's favor.
Well, yeah, that's and my whole point about this is not really. It's like these are people who pretend for a living are going on strike from their job. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. This isn't like engineers or sewage workers or people at the water plant or whatever. Something we actually fucking need. It's people who pretend for a living to sell. This isn't even like movies. It's commercials, right? So it's people who pretend for a living to sell us toothpaste are going to go on strike. It's like, oh man, we're not going to get any more commercials. What are we going to do? We might miss a Geico ad here and there. Well, no, Geico hasn't been good for years, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see the Writers Guild and all this, and these are the people who are like, oh God, everything's terrible. It's like, you write science fiction for a living. I mean, you should thank whatever deity you pray to every fucking day. That is your job. That is good times. Good times. And Robot Rob Shlomo agrees with you about Jonathan Frakes. He said, Susan Leighton, yes, indeed. He would be able to say no. Yes.
Yeah.
One of the few. One of the few.
I mean, I understand why writers would get upset, about the packaging deals, particularly if maybe they're not at agencies that get those high-powered deals. But it's all about, I want my share. I want mine.
And the things are changing. This is going to be what's interesting. I don't want to lose too many viewers here, but on the sports ball, this all relates to the streaming wars. And there's an NFL strike looming and it's going to be their last strike. This is going to be the last strike they're going to be able to have. because everything's going to change after that. And the Writers Guild and all the others, they better have their strikes soon, because it'll be the last strike you're going to have, because we're kind of returning to this thing that's like the studio system. But I'm not going to say Silicon Valley is going to break Hollywood, but they're going to put a big dent in Hollywood. Netflix is already kind of running the show, folks. Amazon is not far behind. Amazon, I'm surprised. Amazon could be real competition for Netflix. They just decided not to be. It's kind of up to them, because they have the money. They have the liquid to take on Netflix big time. Netflix, a lot of Netflix money is based on their value and stuff. Jeff Bezos actually has it in his pocket. There's a big difference. I think they're just waiting for Disney. I think they're just waiting for Disney to see how the Disney thing flies. And I was looking at the DC streaming service today, because Titans crapped out like a really horrible finale. And somebody brought up in my chat, AT&T, Time Warner, Warner Brothers, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. And that's what they crapped out for a TV series. Let this be. I hope this is a lesson to all the streaming services. This would be the time to put a bunch. I would front load the money. I would make your shit really expensive and look really nice, because you got one chance at this. If it works, Avatar 2 will make a lot of money, especially in China. Mark my words, it will probably make $500 million or something. Mako. China, you know what? I'm gonna, like, a lot of people have been like, oh, they're making movies for China. I'm gonna, you know what? I got back from Aquaman. Thank fucking God for China. China does not like politics. China does not like SJW politics. They actually have a name for it over there, and it translates to white politics or something like that. And I think they're going to keep movies just entertaining. I think they're going to be, I'm not against that at all. Whether you loved or hated Aquaman, it wasn't political at all. And it had a diverse cast. You didn't notice it because they didn't make a big fucking deal out of it. Oh, and they happened to have like an Asian director. Didn't make a big deal about that either. They just gave us a fucking movie. So I was really happy about that. Maybe because expectations were lowered completely, but I don't know. Did anybody see Aquaman out there? What'd you guys think? Give me a 1 out of 10 score. I'm curious to see. Jerry Doyle had a story when he started with the big head on B5 on Babylon 5. They put him in a coma at the end of the season. He figured out quickly not to rock the boat. Yes. There you go. Nicholas Horton, 2 pounds. Did you watch Netflix Lost in Space remake? We did, and we reviewed it. The review is on this channel. I was mediocre on it. It looked very pretty. It had there was some stuff in there I didn't like, we'll just say, but you got to look at the review. Gary, the Titans finale got you dicked? Yes, Mark. We were all dicked. It was all about Dick, and we got Dick. Dick went dark. Susan, we got dicked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of hard. They showed a Batman, and we kept on seeing is this what the DC universe is going to be? We saw Batman's back, we saw Batman's silhouette, we saw the Joker on life support, we saw Riddler's tattoos, we saw Harvey Dent's coin. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Could you read some of the chat? I have to look something up real quick.
Sure. Okay, we got a $5. We actually have a $5 from Mr. Twisted 72. Thank you. It isn't supposed to be good. It's supposed to be bought. Well, thank you very much. That's kind of sad, but I can understand where you're coming from with that. And Tamarox again for $10. Thank you.
Wow.
6.5 out of 10 for Aquaman. Decent fun. Well, about Aquaman, they're predicting that by Christmas Day, it will gross $500 million worldwide. They're being very conservative with it right now. They're putting it in the $70 to $75 million range, but it's on track to be the second biggest open in the U.S. since Furious 7. So Aquaman, I think James Wan surprised quite a few people with it because I think people were ready to write it off. And Gary, I believe, you were pleasantly surprised with it. You enjoyed it.
I did.
Yeah.
The whole family did. As it's a family movie. If you look at it as a straight up, like a, for lack of a better word, a Disney family movie, kind of what superhero movies are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the dialogue, like I said, there's times the dialogue felt like it was parody dialogue. Like Melissa and I actually predicted it and laughed a couple times. That aside, though, Jason Momoa was pretty good. Amber Heard was not annoying. I thought she would annoy me for 2 hours. She actually did not. She was charming, and I'm not a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman was great. And as the mom, she was fucking great. She took a role seriously. It felt a lot like an Anthony Hopkins in the first Thor movie took being Odin seriously. In the other two movies he didn't, but in the first one he
Yeah.
did. And it felt like that. Seeing Willem Dafoe and oh god, now I'm blanking on his name now. Jesus Christ, Dolph Lundgren together on screen was
Wow.
awesome. That was fucking awesome. That was and it was fun. It was fun. It's a decent, fun movie. It's not going to do anything to change your life.
Not going to be an Oscar winner, maybe for effects or
maybe for effects.
Like that. Yeah.
A great color palette, and the fact that an Aquaman movie was halfway decent is a miracle. Nothing short of a miracle, especially making this much money.
Well, you know what that tells me? Then we are going to be very happy with Swamp Thing.
Oh yes. Well, this is it's who's the guy who's running Warner Brothers DC right now is James Hahn. He was not the director.
Yeah.
He was the executive behind, oh my god, all the horror movies that were so fucking profitable over the last like few years. God, I'll get his name. It's like here, I'll figure it out here real quick.
Well,
Read some
while
chat.
we're at it, Carrie Dalton's like, so is the Spider-Verse considered a success or a disappointment? Great critic and audience reviews, but only $36 million last weekend. Now, I know you saw it, Gary, and you did like Spider-Verse. In order for me to answer that, Carrie, truthfully, I would have to look at what they were originally projecting. I haven't seen anything in deadline for it. So, it's hard for me to say 36 million for something of that magnitude of Spider-Man and animated. That does not sound promising, but I'd have to see like what the budget was, what the expectation was for it. But I do know a lot of people did like it and there were positive reviews.
Yes, it's a very good movie on its own, but I'm sorry, I totally got his name. Executive is Walter Hamada. Oh wait, that's the executive as announced. Warner Brothers executive Walter Hamada. Yeah, Walter Hamada is the new president of DC Films, and he was a producer of The Conjuring and stuff like that. So he brought in a lot of hits at lower budgets and stuff. And I'm kind of liking this guy. I think this is because he came out and James Wan came out and said, if you don't like Aquaman, it's on me. Like straight up said that. So that's kind of calling your shot in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And props, dude. I mean, listen, it didn't suck. That's the best way to put it. It didn't suck. See a day matinee, you'll feel like it was money well spent. If you got kids, definitely take your kids. They'll have a good time. My kid fucking loved it.
It's a popcorn movie.
That's what it's
nothing
for.
wrong with a popcorn movie.
You satisfied the 13-year-old. That's what they were supposed to do,
Yeah, so I mean, if Juan did really well with this, and he's got some powerhouse names behind him. You've got James Wan for Swamp Thing. You've got Gary Dauberman, who penned It and The Nun, which went through the roof. Now, a lot of people didn't like The Nun, but it did kill at the box office for a bit. And he's behind it. Mark Verheiden, who people that have read the Alien series on Dark Horse know him as a familiar name. If you saw Ash vs. Evil Dead, He was the showrunner for season 3. He's also on board for Swamp Thing, and they've got a great eclectic cast. They've got Virginia Madsen. They have Will Patton. They've got Derek Mears. There's just like a plethora of names that are attached. And now Ian Ziering is showing up in a reoccurring role as Blue Devil. So there's going to be
That's awesome. Blue Devil's going to be in it. That is awesome. Oh my God. Well, the Stargirl casting, if I have time, we'll go over that. That's incredible. That's got like a laundry list of DC characters that are going to be in that.
Joel McHale's in it too.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, Swamp Thing's going to be great, folks. We're going to talk about Doom Patrol in a second, because there's something in there that really bothered me. Some things that made me happy, some things that didn't. But as far as Aquaman goes, I mean, like I could give a spoiler review, but there's like nothing. I mean, Aquaman was a reluctant hero, and then he wasn't. And what could be better than a king but a hero? And they ran for like 2 hours. The thing you could tell that it was a horror director. There was a bunch of jump scare shots. Like every time like Aquaman and we're gonna kiss, like something happened. And then it was like in your face, like somebody would like fire a gun at the screen or something like that make you jump. So there's a bunch of shit like that. It was super hyperkinetic, and I was watching it on the XD screen. And when they got to Atlantis, and they're just driving in Atlantis, it's a big city. It was fucking gorgeous, and yeah, it was super CG, but the colors on it was awesome. It was so cool. So, but not a lot of, was it Black Manta was done very well. I thought that was done very well. It was used very well. He was used very well. Ocean Master went straight up Ocean Master, had an Ocean Master costume. Couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, holy shit. They're actually, and they even did the thing where when he like his eyebrows, the mask move with his face. And even though like that's a very comic book thing to do. And yeah, I liked it. I'm unapologetic about how much I like the movie. So I know some people didn't, and that's fine. Into the Spider-Verse, somebody asked the question. It should have done better. And the reason it didn't do better, I'll tell you why. I should be pretty obvious. You guys can probably answer it in the chat. It wasn't really Spider-Man. It was the Spider or Spider-Boy or Spider-Man 2 or El Hombre Araña or something, but it wasn't Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's Peter Parker. Spider-Man's Peter Parker. You can't just like, you know what? Miles Morales was very popular. He got caught up in the whole SJW Marvel mess now, and a lot of comic book fans equate him to SJW Marvel, and they want fucking nothing to do with him. Is it the character's fault? Not really. It's the idiot writers who took him over. At first, he was popular. I liked him in the Ultimate Universe. If they're going to have him in the 616, my thought was always, give Spider-Man a partner, give Spider-Man a Robin. He's never had that, and we could do that for years. But no, the whole plan, and I think a lot of comic fans see through this, is to replace him at some point. That I couldn't be more against something in my life than that. But that's what Sony would love to be able to make live action movies with Miles Morales. But it's also good that it wasn't a huge hit, because this could damage any kind of deal with Disney. Apparently, they want to re-up the deal with Disney, with Marvel, which is good. But I'm not a fan of Spider-Man Homecoming, so I don't know. I liked him in Civil War, but I'm not the biggest fan. Sorry. I thought as a movie by itself, it was good, but it should have made more money. I'm surprised it didn't. 35 million is not. I think they were hoping for more, right? Weren't they hoping for upwards of 80, something like that? Or I could be wrong. I don't know what they were shooting for.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen anything in Deadline pertaining to it, so I can't really speak, but I know 35 for that type of movie isn't stellar, and they probably did project it, to be higher.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to look into that. Matthew, yes, Jason Momoa was born to play Conan. They just gave it to the wrong people to direct it, and then they, making a real, like, authentic Conan movie in these current times would be impossible. Let's face it, Conan is masculinity for 2 hours. And we're just not going to get that right now from Hollywood. Amazon was going to do a series. They canceled. I wish they would give Momoa another crack at Conan because he was born to play that role. You are not wrong. I kind of want him out of the MCU, to be honest, says Mata. Yeah, it's Spider-Boy. What I said in my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review, that in the first 10 minutes, you get like that reality Spider-Man, which looks like Ben Reilly's. But that was for the first time in my life, counting the Sam Raimi movies, which I love, I have seen a proper comic book Spider-Man, one with his shit together, one who's quipping while he's fighting. The costume looked perfect. And yeah, for like 5 or 10 minutes, this guy's giving a background. I've been Spider-Man for 10 years. And he's, I'm with my girl. And it was Spider-Man. It was the one, it was taken right out of the comics. And they did some beautiful homages to comic books in that, starting with a comic books code. You want to win me over? You start, I mean, I hate the comic books code, but I like the comic books code. Does that make any sense? But I've never seen the real Spider-Man on screen from the comic books. I think Raimi got awfully close, and those are my favorite Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man 1 and 2. Raimi's a genius, but it still wasn't Peter Parker from the comic books, an established 28 to 30-year-old Peter Parker. And now that we've seen so many people, the movie-going audience thinks they've seen Peter Parker to death and they're ready to see something new. At least that's what the executives think, when we haven't really seen him yet. Same thing for Batman, to be honest with you. We've gotten good versions of it, but not a true comic book version. Of course, animated series is the closest to that. I'm a purist when it comes to that shit, but I also believe in it because it's worked for many years. For anything that has been popular for decades upon decades, Susan.
Yeah.
But then you finally get it to the movies and it goes, I know it's worked for 60 years, but we need to change it. It's still going on.
It's just, that needs to stop. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, I keep on wishing, and I know this is never going to happen. And I know that, I've had, I don't want to say arguments because that sounds, like it's been heated, but I've had disagreements with people because I happen to like Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man. I wish that somehow, somewhere, somebody could talk Sam into coming back and directing some superhero movie.
Oh, yes.
I wish that would happen. I don't foresee it happening, but that would be great. I mean, that's the kind of kick in the ass that some of those, those beloved characters need. And we keep on getting like a plethora of Batmans and a plethora of Spider-Mans, and Superman's had a couple, but not nearly as many as Batman and Spidey. And that's because I read somewhere where Superman is hard to do because he doesn't have flaws. So yeah.
Sam Raimi would be perfect for Superman, by the way. He'd be perfect. I don't know if he's a fan or anything, but Superman does have flaws, and your characters don't need to have flaws. You know what? Writers have too many flaws. There's too many shitty writers out there. You know what? Only good writers can write Superman. But I will just point out that Alan Moore wrote fucking some of the best, one of the best Superman stories I've ever read, and he actively disdains the ideals behind Superman, but he still had enough reverence for the character to write a beautiful story. And I remind you that he disdains everything that Superman stands for. He looks at the heart of the character too. He can like look back, like that, because some of these poser writers just see Superman, oh, he's a Boy Scout. Every time I freaking hear that, I want to get upset. I want to remain calm, but I want to get upset. Superman's a Boy Scout. So you know what? You might as well just jump up and down and say, I don't know shit about Superman and I don't know shit about superheroes. Superman is good. The whole Boy Scout thing, don't read the comics. Read the comics. He's got tons of flaws. They're just not the tropes. He had a good father. So that's one they can't use. That's their favorite one. There's he's an orphan.
Mhm.
His planet was destroyed. Go with that. Those are things you can work on. Abandonment is a thing. Okay, as an adopted kid, abandonment is a thing. You can use that. Use it, writers, you dumbasses. And by the way, Richard Donner made a perfect movie. So uh, it's such
Yeah.
bullshit. And Sam Raimi would be great because Sam Raimi, you know what? He loves film. He's the kind of guy I think he's comfortable enough now. He could retire and never work again. And he's made enough money. He could just go chill out, but he continues to work because he loves it, you know, and
Yeah.
that's why I love him. Okay, so here's the Doom Patrol. And you know, this is, you know, going to be out of your realm. Doom Patrol is like a deep cut. It shouldn't be, but they're basically the X-Men of DC. They were invented around the same time. I believe they predated the X-Men, and what they're teenagers, uh, teenage superheroes that are run by a guy in a wheelchair. So it's a lot like the X-Men,
Hmm.
except you know, and they've always been a favorite of mine. They were the best thing in Titans. We have Robot Man, Negative Man. We have Cyborg there as a Teen Titan. We have Elastigirl, the real one. And a lot of people have been talking about this Cyborg. I don't know what the chat is saying about him right now. Oh, I better not have that moving. They really don't like that stuff. But uh, yeah, I watched these are different from the Doom Patrol that was in the Titans, which was very good, by the way. But Timothy Dalton is going to be in it, which I like. At low cosplay Cyborg, yeah, it's not impressing me. And after I just watched the first season of Titans, and the biggest problem with Titans was its budget. As bad as the writing was, the writing was constricted by a really, really small budget. Mind you, this is a multi-billion dollar company wanting to start a streaming service, and they actually got out first. And first impressions mean everything, and they dropped the ball 100%. DC Universe could fail. Your streaming service could fail if your first show is not really fucking good. And they half-assed Titans. Sorry. I wish I could tell you different, but they straight up half-assed it. And you guys who are paying, I'm paying for it. I pay for the damn service. So I feel it right to say that. Sorry, I went away from it. I don't want to show that anyway. They tend to copyright strike. Crazy Jane. Yes, that was Crazy Jane. Timothy Dalton is playing the professor, and the guy who was playing him in Titans wasn't very good, so I understand why they changed him. He was okay, but any comic book can be a good movie. Just has to be written and produced by the right people, rather than just using big names for quick cash grab. Matt Guy, yep. You know Phil Lord, you know Lord and Miller, Susan,
Yep.
familiar with them?
Yes.
They wrote Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. And the reason Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse was good to me was it had a great story. Animation was okay. Dropped a lot of frames to the point where I noticed it. I'm not an animation snob, so I don't care about that stuff, but I noticed it and it was bad. But it had a very charming story, very, very charming story. And even the Peter Parker, who I would have found completely annoying because he was in sweats, by the end of the movie, I liked him because it was written well. Those guys are really fucking talented. Kathleen Kennedy was an idiot to fire them, a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking good at what they do. DC should snatch them up right now. But yeah, what the I'm just bummed out because I hope Swamp Thing can be made on a low budget. And I thought it was going to be concerning when they got Walter Hamada, because that was going to be their whole point, is we want to put this stuff out and we don't want it costing as much money. Well, if you're going to get in the superhero game, it's not reality television. It's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Genre is going to cost you a lot of money. I mean, horror actually ends up being the least expensive because they always have the most creative people. And blood is cheap when you don't try to CG blood, which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it also depends on where you shoot it too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now they go to Australia and shit. They go
And
to
New
Australia because
Zealand.
that's cheaper.
Yeah.
I want to go to New
And
Zealand.
the crews have their shit together, so you're not working crazy ass days, like 23 hours a day. You're not working those kind of hours.
No, you're not. You're not. Ian Banks, late to the party. Course correction for Doctor Who. Ditch Chibnall. Gaiman, no show run. Give us a doctor who's an adult with a character in history, not a daffy, face pulling, breathless child. Yeah, as funny as the article I read, Ian was talking about how young and dynamic she was. I'll link it, guys, to you. That article was something else, man. Susan was just going, what the hell? I mean, that was one of those articles that was just written for, word count, like you said. It was just and it was
Oh,
deceitful. It tells you like, hey, this is the
here's the
most.
New Year's thing, and yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the whole headline says Doctor Who faces most terrifying challenge yet in New Year's special, and that's pretty much it. Then it talks about how awesome Jodie is. That was obviously practically a press release sent to them by the BBC to put out to believe me, you're gonna since that uh I'll just tell you, a couple of my videos have actually gotten more views later. It usually most of my videos, it's the first 72 48 hours where they get the most of their views, then they kind of they peter out a little bit, but then they keep going. The Rotten Tomatoes one and the Star Trek lawsuit one have been going up. So
Well, yeah.
look for CBS to count. Yeah, like the lawsuit one, which I just did on a whim, by the way. I just did it for fun to remind everybody before the short trek that the lawsuit was there. And it's got like over 60,000 or something like that. And then the PC, the Rotten Tomatoes one, it's got like 83. Those are both like way bigger. And I mean, listen, I get a couple thousand views. I'm freaking happy. I'm totally happy. So that was awesome. The word is getting out there on the Rotten Tomatoes. I think other people have made videos now, or people might have done it before me. I don't pay attention to a lot of other Doctor Who channels because I don't want to steal any ideas. So I kind of put my head down. I know they exist. I know Clownfish TV is out there, but I try not to. I'll watch their stuff later when this is all over because I don't want to. I don't want to like subconsciously, take anything from them. But or vice versa. But go check them out. They apparently they're saying the same stuff I am, so they're friends. I haven't spoken with them though, and they haven't reached out, and I haven't really reached out to them. Gary, filming in Australia gets you some government money. Hey Susan, you want to film something in Australia?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
that sounded bad. I mean, like something. Let's do a B movie. We can do yeah. We'll
I'll
make a.
do it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure I can come up. I'm sure I have a B movie script somewhere.
A superhero is hiding out in the woods to heal after he just thumped by a bunch of multiple villains, and it's just safer for the world if he's gone. Because if he doesn't heal up, the world will end, and then we have somebody hunting him, and it's just got two guys in it. But we can make it like a horror movie, except a superhero movie.
We could do some gore. We could do
Yeah.
some gore. I think we could work with that. I could deal with it.
Uh, Angel Feliciano, Superman is a good guy and wants to help people. That's all you need to know. The biggest problem, Angel, with Hollywood writers is he's a good guy and he helps people. They can't get their head around that. They're like, no, he's got to have some flaws. Did he cheat on his wife or something? Because I don't think they're from good families anymore. So, any news on tardigrades? SBG, no new news. We know that the latest news, Robot Rob, are you still in here, Mead? The latest news, Mead reported that CBS has gotten counsel. So very soon they're going to have to make their first public statement. I think they might have done that already, but I think it was to ask Anas to drop a couple names from the lawsuit, and they asked for him to change the lawsuit to remove a couple names. His response was, "I did change it by adding a couple of names." So balls on Anas. I love that guy. I love it. That guy's awesome, man. ASTD must die. Tardigrades, the microorganisms. Yes, Motanui. Tardigrades is a point and click video game by a guy named a friend of ours named Anas Abdin. And it's on Steam, and it came out 2 years before Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery uses tardigrades, uses for their mycelial network, basically their mushroom drive, their spore drive, and they used a giant tardigrade to help them navigate it. Well, in the video game, a giant tardigrade helps a guy travel through time and space. There's also characters that look like there's a lot of similarities from story and the giant blue tardigrade that Star Trek Discovery allegedly stole. Will Dick Discovery survive a successful lawsuit? No. If it's a successful lawsuit, it will have to probably cease and desist. I don't know, and I mean, I want Anas to win so much, but I don't think it'll get that far. I'm thinking they'll settle with the man, which they should have fucking done. He tried for a year, and they blew him off. Friday Night Tights, Woodford Reserve Bourbon Eggnog, and Twisted Christmas makes a good Friday night. Oh, awesome, Mr. Twisted. That's brilliant. Bless you.
Again.
Yeah. She's a little sneezy. Good night, Filthy Farmer. Good night. Got 220 holding strong. Holding strong. Let me get there's some other news. We got somebody asked me something. You want to read a couple chats there?
Yep. Let's see what's going on here. Am I the only one who finds the fact that abbreviated as STD is kind of funny, Matt and Nui? No, we all think that's kind of funny and ironic at the same time. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it just wasn't very well thought. They honestly didn't think about it until way later.
John Michael Fink, who's your fave James Bond? Well, speaking for me, I happen to like Daniel Craig a lot. I like I know that's probably not popular, but I like the fact that he kind of brought Bond away from a caricature and more of a believable person with a lot of flaws and not exactly a super spy.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you think?
Oh, it's tough. I know Sean Connery is better, but Roger Moore is mine because he was the Bond. He was my, kind of like with Doctor Who, everybody's got their doctor.
Yeah.
He was my James Bond. I was growing from the age of like 7 to 13 or 14. He was my Bond.
Yeah.
So that's the one who stuck with me, and he's in my favorite Bond movie. I mean, I know Connery's better, but I like Roger Moore quite a bit. He was in some turds as well, but I find enjoyment in every single Bond movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger Moore was fun. He happens to be. I love View to a Kill. I love
Yeah.
that. So
Listen, I like Never Say Never Again, and that's like
yeah.
the worst Bond movie, and I love that. It's not even considered a Bond movie, but I love it.
Hidden Wiki and says thanks. What's a good horror movie for the holidays? Wow, there's so many of them. Personally, if you haven't seen it, Hidden Wiki, and this is an oldie but a goodie, 1974's Black Christmas. This is the movie that was the progenitor for Halloween and all the slasher movies. It has a very young Margot Kidder in it. It's got Keir Dullea from 2001. It's got John Saxon from Enter the Dragon and, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street. So I definitely recommend that. That's a good place to start.
Excellent.
Let's see here. Hobo with a Shotgun. Yes, Hidden Wiki. Rutger Hauer, another love of mine, deep love for Rutger. That movie was like a car wreck. You know it's coming, but you can't stop watching it for whatever reason. Yep, Hobo with a Shotgun. Wow. Let's see here. Everybody seems to like Sean Connery. He is the only Bond. Exactly. Matthew Gadet says that he believes Dalton was a far better Bond.
There's some people like to. There's a weird thing. I'm trying to understand this. You keep reading that, and I'm going to share this article. Vine getting close to Rat Pack Dune library deal worth near 300 million. And I'm trying to Vine Investments. What's Rat Pack Dune Library? But apparently they own minority stakes in Wonder Woman, American Sniper, Annabelle.
Rat Pack is Brett Ratner's company.
Yes. Okay.
And
So
Dune, I think Platinum Dunes. Is that the other company?
Yep.
I believe that is. Oh, before I say anything, I'll have to look that one up.
Production company. It's kind of like inside Hollywood stuff. It's just Rat Pack's selling out and changing because he got Me Too'd, although he's probably getting a ton of money and he's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. I was looking at the Stargirl. We got a Tigress cast.
Yes, we did.
We did. And I am not against this at all. I mean, she just had to be kind of a hot woman. Sorry. That's all that was the requirement. Was a really in shape person. Okay. She's gonna be wearing a costume and stuff.
She's to be fit.
The Injustice Society has recruited the first 3 members, the actors taking the roles of Tigress, Sportsmaster, and Dragon King on the upcoming live-action DC Universe series, Stargirl. Will be Joy Omansky, Neil Hopkins, and Nelson Lee, respectively. So here we go. There you go. But I'm just looking at that. There's your Tigress. Cool. The heroes and villains going through Stargirl are pretty amazing. So it might be worth the watch. She's not my favorite DC character. I'm kind of surprised she got a TV show, but yeah, I think it goes along with the whole female thing right now. So yeah, what the hell, go for it. We're going to see a lot of cool characters and I don't hate the character. I like Justice Society was when Jeff Johns was writing it, and was one of my favorite comics. It's was really good run. Really good run. So yeah, Aquaman box office. Yeah, so you said over the Christmas, by the time it gets to Christmas, it'll be 100 million because they're thinking it's 75 million over 3 days. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, they're thinking 500 million by Christmas worldwide.
Good Lord. It made a ton of money in China, right? So that is incredible. Look at all these. Oh my God.
And they've been very conservative with it. They've, said 70 to 75 million range, although the predictions are probably more than that.
So Black Panther gets Best Picture nomination for Golden Globes. It's like the 6th best Marvel movie, maybe 7th, but okay, whatever. We all know why. So Aquaman hooking 70 million to 75 million 3-day. Poppins, Bumblebee, and Spider-Verse battle for second Friday midday box office. Third update, midday. Industry box office sources are being conservative in their regards to projecting it's still the pre-holiday period. So while Aquaman's 9 million Thursday was would typically indicate an $80 million plus opening, and that could still happen, right now estimates are in at 70 to 75 million range over the FSS, with the first day of 30 million, including preview night of 13.7 million. A solid start for what is expected to be a great stretch. Remember, this $200 million DC production has already bagged 332.1 million offshore. By Christmas Day, we could be looking at by Christmas Day, we could be looking at hang on, I just got distracted. Come here. By Christmas Day, we could be looking at 500 million worldwide for the James Wan directed stateside. Aquaman will go down as the 2nd biggest opener in US and Canada for FSS after Furious 7. Who's FSS? Who's FSS? I don't even know who that is.
All I know is Furious 7. FSS.
Yeah, I don't know what FSS is. Whatever. Um, be sure to read the previous demos. Mary Poppins Returns. A $6.2 million Friday, projected 3-day 2023 million. Is that good?
It depends once
Doesn't
again on
sound
what
good.
their budget is. It doesn't sound very good.
Ooh, Paramount's Bumblebee is seeing a $7 million today with a 3-day between 18 to $22 million. That cannot be good for a Transformers movie. They need to do better than that. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, it's a much smaller movie, but I don't think they were expecting 30 million weekend or 22 million. I heard it was good. I don't know. What'd you guys think? Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, it dropped a lot. Not 50%, the usual 50%, but interesting. But this is all projection. We're talking Friday. Welcome to Marwin. Looks really sad. I don't want to say it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, wow. It looks like and the award goes to.
Exactly, right? Steve Carell.
Yep. Well, he was up for a couple years back for Fox, oh, I want to say Fox Run, because I used to live in Delaware where that whole thing went down with the DuPonts. And he played the crazy DuPont wrestling coach. And he was basically unrecognizable in that role. That's how good he was.
Yep. Yeah, I like Steve Carell as a comedian. These serious roles are just like, I know he's good at it. I walk by his house. I know where he lives. Uh,
Wait a
he
minute. In
lives.
San Fran, does he live there?
No, he lives down in near Toluca Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, he lives near Melissa McCarthy. I got shown her house too. My friend who lives down there. Well, John, he used to host this. His wife. We went on a little walk jog and she showed me where all the stars live, and I saw his house. It's not like this giant. It's a big house. It's a big fucking house. It's a
Yeah.
big fucking house, but it's not a mansion. Melissa McCarthy's house is like suburban house, like your average suburban house. I was kind of impressed by that, by the way,
Yeah.
but I digress. Yeah, I saw his house and I was like, oh, that's what being funny buys you. That's fucking awesome. But that really sunk in one time when I went to Pixar. Susan, I went to Pixar and I
Mhm.
looked up, and the guy who was with Josh Shipley, who kind of runs the entertainment, the whole animation department, he said, this is what Toy Story bought us. And yeah, it was one movie that bought them this facility that would it's unbelievable. It's got the giant light, Pixar light in front. It's just giant. It's got the best theater I've ever been in. I watched Disney whole movies in there. And yeah, it's amazing what you see what one movie can buy. So when they say like when we get numbers like this, folks, the reason I bring this up is they make actually quite a bit more than they're saying. These numbers, like I said, are bullshit. They always estimate down on these. They make twice as much as what they report. Probably
Sometimes.
more. Sometimes they lose their ass,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's all bullshit. They make a lot of money. And yeah, God, it's crazy. So Aquaman did well. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I don't know how many people actually saw it though. The thing is that it's not concerning. I just haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. Everybody's saying, it's okay. That's a
There's been
closer's house. Yeah, damn straight.
there was some chatter on Twitter about Aquaman.
What did you see? Was it bad, good?
No, a lot of it was good. A lot of people really enjoyed it. Wow. Thanks, Mark. See, $5. Bumblebee's box office makes me sad. You have 4 giant movies released within 8 days, just cannibalizing each other. Yes, and there's a reason for that. 'Tis the season for Oscar. There's going to be a lot of movies that come out at this time of year, unfortunately.
Mark, I cannot. I totally get what you're saying. I was talking about that earlier. Bumblebee's not going to win an Oscar, and it went up against Aquaman. That was so stupid. That was so dumb. If Bumblebee came out in January, watch Glass, guys. Watch Glass. Glass is coming out in January. It's going to
Yep.
kick ass. It's going to kick ass because it's got nothing around it. If Bumblebee comes out February 1st, it's got Captain Marvel a month away, and that's it. It could rule the entire month. But they decide to release it on Christmas Day against Aquaman and Mary Poppins. And it ends up doing, I mean, a Transformers movie does as good as a remake of an old fucking musical. That
That whole Mary Poppins thing just pisses me off.
I don't
But
have any interest to see that. Like, what? Who would want to see that? Just go
it's
watch the original.
I know. Well, the only thing that's cool about it is Dick Van Dyke is actually dancing at 95. But like, I don't want to see Lin-Manuel Miranda pretend to be Dick Van Dyke. Emily Blunt is not Julie Andrews. If I want to see a good movie about Mary Poppins, I'm going to see Saving Mr. Banks. That
Yeah,
is a beautiful movie.
I mean, make something new. So they prefer awards to money. Yes, it makes no sense, OG Spock Club, but yes.
That's why there's a plethora of stuff that comes out now. And then you have the movies that were released at the beginning of the year that people think should be Oscar contenders, and then they're re-released in February and in December and January, so that they can get the Academy's attention.
Yeah. Well, if the Academy Awards can't find a host and their ratings go down, that we won't have to
Yeah.
worry about it too much longer. I mean, like, honestly, if we get another year of SJW bullshit at the fucking Academy, I mean, like, I don't watch anymore. I have no desire to watch anymore, and it's
I
because,
stopped.
it's not fun. It used to be funny and fun, and it just gotten more political and more political, and now your shows are getting that way to the point where, like, I was like, man, I'm gonna have too many shows to cover, but I think it's gonna be easy for me to weed through the shows now. I'm just like, I'm not gonna deal with it if your show's gonna be preachy and political.
Yeah.
I'm really, you listen. Doctor Who's a different beast because I'm a big fan of it. If it's a show I'm not a big fan of, then fuck it, I don't care. Jimmy Kimmel will probably, well, that guaranteed I won't watch.
It's funny. A bunch of stars came out and jokingly said that they would host. Rob Lowe was one of them, and he posted a picture on Twitter of his character of behind the candelabra with the stretched face and the too much plastic surgery. He's like, I'll do it if I can look like this. And he's joking. Bruce Campbell came out and said, all right, I'll host your damn Oscars, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing I know, one of my colleagues in the media pens not one, but several articles saying that Rob Lowe wants to host the Oscars. Bruce Campbell wants to host the Oscars. I'm like, you people are idiots. They're joking. They don't want to host the Oscars.
Oh my God, though, if Bruce Campbell fucking hosts the Oscars, you want to see people come back. It'd be like a stampede of people coming back. Bruce Campbell hosting the fucking Oscars. You want to bring you want to get nerd cred Oscars? You fucking get Bruce Campbell to host the fucking Oscars right now.
I can tell you.
I want to start that campaign.
I can tell you.
Boomstick Oscars.
He won't. He hates that town, like, with a passion. I mean, he knows that he's got to be there for work, but and he's got to do that whole thing that everybody has to do. But like, no, that's not going to happen at all. Not at all. Yeah, sorry.
Doomcock would be my second choice. Doomcock. It'd be a very short Oscars.
Oh God.
But I'll host the Oscars. Fuck it.
Well, you're probably in line. You're probably in line to host.
Cool.
I mean, they've asked everybody, step up. Let's get that Twitter campaign going.
Cool. Yeah. I got to find some victim status that I'm in, and then I'll exploit it, and then I could be the Oscar. I mean, the Oscars is really just a giant charade. Not to mention those people don't even know when to shut the hell up. Matanui, no, they don't. They don't. Honestly, it's a lot of fodder for videos. But no, they're morons. Rob Lowe was great on the Orville. He was Matt Guy. My God, that was such a great episode. And he splooges out of his face, which is Idris Elba to host the Oscars. Everybody,
Of course.
Idris Elba.
Yep.
Joe Rogan. Oh, he'd be great. Brian Fisher would be good, or Dave Attell or Jeff Ross. Let them roast everybody. Oh my God, a roast Oscars. Brian Fisher, you just came. There's Bruce Campbell or a roast Oscars or both. Or both. And you've just got the highest rated Oscars episode ever. See, this is why, okay, the Christmas idea for Doctor Who, Cato helped me a little bit. And now I could pump out, I don't have time, but I could pump out 3 videos. So I'll say it now on, I think on Christmas Eve, I'm going to do a live stream reading all the ideas I couldn't get to, which could be a couple hours. And they're really good. You guys are fucking awesome. When somebody says they run out of ideas and we have audiences to go to, that you guys are a fountain.
Run out of ideas. That is like death to a writer. I can't believe people are actually coming out and saying that. Oh, we've run out of ideas. Well, then just cancel the show.
Yep. I saw Howard Stern up there. If you go back in time and get me my Howard from 1992, not this sellout freaking poser Howard that we have now, sure. The Howard we have now is not Howard Stern. But apparently that's what he always was. He just wanted to be accepted. Remember when he used to like talk shit about Hollywood, and now he just kisses their butt, and it's kind of sad to watch. Sorry, I used to be a big Howard fan. Hey, listen, he's got a big old house and
a
hot
sexy
wife. And sexy wife, and
young wife, 12-year-old wife.
And he doesn't really need to be working. He got a smart businessman. Like, he's a listen, he got what he wanted. He wanted to be part. The reason he was out against him is he just wanted to be one of them.
Oh, that's a heartwarming story.
Isn't it though? Rianne Johnson should host the Oscars and subvert our expectations. Yes.
Oh,
absolutely. Roast Oscars would get high ratings, but Hollywood would hate it. They would, because they for people who could go out and act and stuff on stage, they have awfully thin skin, which is weird because you have to have really thick skin to get out there on stage, but you can hide behind your character. Gene Simmons should host it. Deadpool should host the Oscars. That would be fucking funny. Ryan Reynolds would actually be really good. Beavis and Butthead should host the Oscars. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Pepe the Frog should host the Oscars. I don't think they'd allow that. I don't.
No, he's a problem now.
A weeping angel should host the Oscars. I vote for that.
That would be great. No, the Weeping Angels need to present the Oscars.
They should be the Oscars. Just hand them a weeping angel. Bruce Campbell. I can't get that out of my head. That would be so glorious.
I know, but Jesus, no, it's not gonna. I don't see it happening.
John Barrowman would be great. His anything goes with John Barrowman thing at Comic-Con. Go look at videos of that, guys. It's funny.
But Hollywood probably doesn't even know John Barrowman.
No, they don't.
They don't. I mean, like, if you bring him up, like, a lot of people brought up Patton Oswalt.
No. God, no.
I know. Yeah, they did, actually. Yeah.
I mean, again, 10 years ago, Patton Oswalt, yes. Not this version. No. Hannibal Lecter should host the Oscars. That would be funny if you get somebody, like, get an actor to be in character the whole time. Kind of like Michael Myers doing the Gong Show as that character. Like, yeah, get somebody in character to do the Oscars. Make it fun. And like zero politics. Make that like you lose your award if you talk about politics.
Good luck on that.
Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog. Oh my God. I got to meet him at the Florida Comic-Con. It was pretty funny.
Who actually did him? Robert Smigel?
Smigel, yep.
Why don't they go to well, I don't think this would happen, but why don't they go to Conan? He's a talk show host nobody's asked.
I don't know what happened to him. He went on TBS and got forgotten, and he used to be cool. He's just not cool anymore. I even
Yeah. He used to do Comic-Con.
he still does. I don't think he's going to do it anymore. I heard this might be his last one, but yeah, you know what? I'm not into late night talk show hosts anymore. It feels they're all dinosaurs in my, I used to love Conan quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's the least offensive to me. I'll just say that, but most of them mostly suck.
I haven't watched that since Dave left.
Honestly, I'm old David Letterman. Old
Yes.
David Letterman. Oh
Yeah,
my
old David
God, that
Letterman.
was the best.
When he first was late night with David Letterman, and he would
Yes.
go out in the street and he would approach the strangers and he'd be like, "Lady, what's in your bag?" That used to kill me because I was like, I was waiting for somebody to just up and cold cock him.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you doing?
When he did Velcro night,
Yeah.
remember when everybody like he had a Velcro costume and you had to jump against the Velcro wall? Yeah, it was bizarre and
classic.
brilliant.
And he used to drop watermelons from a building and television sets. Oh, that was great. That was good television. I'm glad I was alive back then.
EVS should host the Oscars, but he has to host him through his iPad with his pen, so you can't see him. But he's going to be looking at the crowd and doing his little commentary with this pen while he's drawing Cyberfrog. That's the only way I'll take it. Craig Ferguson, I like Craig. I like Craig Ferguson. I got nothing wrong. No problems with Craig Ferguson.
Who?
Craig Ferguson.
Just
exactly. Yeah. He's gone now. Chuck Norris should host the Oscars.
Chuck Norris, sure.
A masturbating bear should host the Oscars. Well, it's better. It's better than what they got now. Do bears masturbate? They must. I never thought about that. Just chalk that up as one of the things I haven't thought about. I thought about everything. Charles Barkley to host the Oscars. That would actually be funny. That's terrible. That was a terrible movie. Godzilla should host the Oscars. Kind of like Motonui Godzilla versus Bambi. Has anybody ever seen that movie? Come on, you've seen that movie, right? Godzilla versus Bambi.
Oh.
Anyone? It's old. Have you guys seen Godzilla versus Bambi? Oh, Jesus. Hang on. You haven't seen Godzilla versus Bambi?
No.
Oh, my God. This was like Hardware Wars. It was like a rite of passage to nerds. Yeah, Godzilla versus Bambi.
Let Clint Eastwood yelling at a chair host the Oscar.
It's from 1969, folks. That's probably why you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla versus Bambi. Hopefully I won't get a strike for this, but
wow, I never heard of that. I feel weird now that I haven't heard of it.
Godzilla versus Bambi. Godzilla versus Bambi. Here we go. Godzilla versus Bambi, everybody. Bambi meets Godzilla. I'm sorry.
Oh. Oh, this is not going to have a good end, I'm sure.
Made the year I was born, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just waiting because I know something's coming.
They showed this in like our second grade class, and we were just laughing at the guy's name being Bambi's Wardrobe by Marv Newland, produced by Marv Newland.
Marv was quite the auteur.
Produced by Mrs. and Mrs. Newland. There she goes.
Damn.
The end.
That's very Monty Python-esque.
It's so funny.
The city of Tokyo.
I've never seen that. I can't believe you've never seen that. Well, hey, you know what? It's a time of firsts here on the Friday Night Tights. God, is this thing over yet? Oh, his nails moved a little bit. That's it.
Animation.
There you go. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for that.
I mean, is Marv Newland even alive?
Who knows? Did you watch Netflix? Oh, that was God. Why am I still? Why that is ancient? How did that get up there?
Yeah, Troy Baker. It was like a Monty Python bit, definitely.
Yes, it was right. When was the Monty Python? Early
Around that
70s?
time.
Around that time. You're right. So maybe that's where he got the idea. Oh my God, I could watch the Monty Python right now. God damn, that's so good.
God, better question. Who would you not want to host the Oscars? Wow.
Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. Any current late night person, but especially Jimmy Kimmel. Adam Carolla. I would watch if Adam Carolla wanted to host the Oscars, I'd be fine with that. Who would I get? I would get a YouTuber to host the Oscars. And then you can say, yeah, we're the future and you're done. I don't know. What YouTuber would you get to host? Like Sargon of Akkad should host the Oscars. Brie Larson should host the Oscars. There you go. Al Gore should host. Joe Rogan. Yes.
No.
Joe Rogan. I vote for Joe. A PewDiePie should host the Oscars. Mikey Spock should host the Oscars. An irate bear. Louis C.K.
There's a no.
I think Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, and Louis C.K. should as punishment, host the Oscars, but they have to wear French bikinis.
Banana hammocks.
Banana hammocks. Banana hammocks.
Oh, God.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that Sandstone 5 William fucking Shatner should host the Oscars. Yes.
He would do it. Oh, he would do it in a heartbeat.
William Shatner.
Yep, Shatner for the Oscars.
Roseanne Barr on Ambien. On Ambien. Bill Cosby on Ambien. Nihilist Mundane Matt. No. Sorry, Matt. No.
Louis Anderson. No.
Kevin Smith.
How about Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller would be great. Oh my God, Kevin Smith would cry too much.
Shat the Oscars. Oh, Penn Farm Girl. I love that. A Truth Apocalypse says a certain woman who ran for president should run. It would get canceled in 3 seconds. If it got canceled in 3 seconds, then I'd be for her hosting. Shatner. Yes, we love the Shat. Shat for the Oscars. Old Kevin Smith would be better, like fat Kevin Smith, basically. I miss my fat Kevin Smith. William Shatner. I'm glad he's healthy, though. I am. I'm sorry he had the heart attack, and thanks for giving Stan a place. I still resent the fact that he's considered the king of the nerds because he's not. Kevin Smith. Yeah. Carrot Top. Carrot
Top. I just saw him not too long ago. Wow.
Jello Biafra should host the Oscars. Lead singer of Dead Kennedys. Jello Biafra would be great. Or Henry Rollins. He'd be too introspective though. Jello Biafra would.
Spiner. Wow.
Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
Oh, we were gonna read that article. One of your fans cited. You want to get Star Trek fans triggered? You want to, before we go, do you want to trigger?
Yeah, why not? Because it triggered me. Jesus.
But, guys, keep going with the hosts. I'm loving this. Nick Cage would be cool.
Oh, Nick Cage would. Oh, Lord. Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes. Undead Stan Lee.
Well.
Oh, my
God.
The viewers are loving this. That's a great fucking topic, by the way. Keep it going, guys. I'm going to trigger you all, and then we can get back to that. Where was it right now?
Let's see here. Gary, you should host. Pauly Shore, Brad Pitt as Tyler Durden, Chucky. That would be great. Christopher Walken. That would be something. Not Sacha Baron Cohen. Ted Bundy. Well, that would be a miracle if Ted hosted. Marvel Zombies. Gallagher. He can smash the Oscars with a sledge-o-matic.
This is too good. I'm not stopping this. This is too good.
Bugs Bunny. Wow.
A Magneto. The Olsen twins. The Undertaker. I'd be okay.
sparkles. Oh, that's the best.
The Undertaker was like the last wrestler I was really into. Robert Downey Jr. would actually do a very good job. Weird Al would do a great job. Ven and Shim host. Ven would take care of our problems, Montanui. Vince McMahon. Yoko Ono. What? Dave Chappelle. Yes.
Brendan Fraser.
A pile of poop? You mean the anti-trekker? No, not kidding. Although he'd do it. Frodo Baggins. The cast of Police Academy.
Hey, Steve Guttenberg needs work. Let's get him in there.
Kim Jong-un.
Ricky Gervais.
That is funny.
Chuck Barris of the Well. Once again, that would be a miracle.
Kato for the win. Ron Jeremy should host the Oscars.
Hey, that would be a different kind of show.
Oh, damn straight.
Sarah Silverman.
Patrick Stewart. Why not?
Snowden. No, he's over in Russia. Jim Norton. Oh, Lord. Nick Cage co-hosting with John Travolta, reprising their face-off roles. God.
That would be great.
Jim Norton, Darth Vader, Old Man Picard, Keenan and Kel. Why not Peel and Key while we're at it?
Actually, Ron Jeremy and Tracy Lords having sex while hosting the Oscars on Friday. John Cleese will be great. Bill and Ted, Samuel Jackson.
Here's your motherfucking reward.
Yep. Say what again? No,
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to trigger you guys some more here. It's time.
It's going to be great.
This is a good one to close out with. Wait, it helps to have the article up. Is that the right article? Yes. You're reading that headline right now. This is just speculation, folks, but sometimes when you see these speculation articles, it might be kind of like thrown out there in the wind. With former crewmates sure to pop up on the Star Trek Picard, recasting Data could solve some problems and breathe new life into the character. How many times have we heard that fucking phrase before? Breathing, for one, stop blowing all my characters and stop breathing new life into them, because if you didn't like the character before, then you're not going to like it now. This has been said before. It's been said by Tom. I've said it before too. The character was good to begin with. If you need to quote unquote breathe new life, it means you weren't really a fan to fucking begin with. Data should be left alone, even in speculation, but they're having fun here. So fuck it. Even if it's the most casual Star Trek fan, there's a little doubt that you are familiar with Lieutenant Commander Data. The character was the breakout star of the early seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation, could continue to play a prominent role as the series throughout the run. Played to perfection by Brent Spiner, Data has starred in all 4 Star Trek Next Generation films, including a tour de force in Star Trek Generations. What? I'm going backwards a little bit. Was Brent Spiner's Data a tour de force in Generations? I mean, he was good. He was the best part about it. When the android finally gained real human emotions, to the chagrin of many, the character was seemingly killed off at the end of Star Trek Nemesis while saving the life of Captain Picard. Of course, if Star Trek has taught us anything, that death is best only temporary. Spock was famously killed off in Wrath of Khan. God, this is a word salad article. Really. I'm going to, in Nemesis, Data transfers his memories into B4, another Soong type android found. Yeah. So yeah, he becomes B4. So who could recast Data?
Well, you know,
do they talk about it, or is that it? They just
do. No, they make some suggestions. Like they said that they could take Data's engrams out of B4 and put it into a new droid and just not call it Data.
Well, that's what we were going to figure we were going to happen, but
or you could go with Data's daughter Lau.
Oh.
We don't need Picard bringing back Data. I mean, can't we get another character, a new character, or can't we just like maybe get somebody to do a cameo and then that's it?
You can de-age him and put. Yeah, I would. Just don't.
I know. Let's not. Please no.
It could be given to some prior cast member of the next generation will show up in Picard. Part of the appeal of the series is to see what the command of the crew of the Enterprise have been up to since the events of Nemesis. But in that case, in the case of Data, that could prove problematic since Data is an android, really, is obviously can't age. However, this hasn't stopped Spinner, who's now 69, from getting older, as all the regular humans do. Plus, the actor says he has said
Yeah.
on no on numerous occasions. Uh, really? Because how many occasions has he been offered? Has he been offered as a guest somewhere?
I don't know, but I know he doesn't want to reprise the role, so plus I think he's on Broadway right now.
Yep. Would most Star Trek fans consider blasphemy? Yes, it would. They would. First, it would be great to bring back Data back from the dead, simply to say robotics have grown a great deal since Nemesis, and the engineers will be able to transfer Data's engrams into B4. Second, by bringing a new actor into the role, they could get one who is playing Data beyond a guest appearance on Picard. It could lead to another spin-off show starring the android. Oh my God, more spin-offs under fucking Kurtzman? No.
No.
Finally, while I love Spinner's depiction of Data, a new actor could give the character a whole new outlook and a way of being.
We
I mean,
don't need a new outlook with Data. We don't need that. I just stop. They have enough trouble in Picard trying to figure out Star Trek and what Star Trek's about. And then we're going to try to bring back this character? No. Let's just do our first job. That's right.
oh boy, that was one day ago. They released a new trailer of the Harvey Mudd short trek. He uses Spider Jerusalem as his avatar. You better write pretty good if Spider Jerusalem is your avatar, buddy. Okay, well, yeah, that was dumb. So Awoke Data, yeah, that incoming, exactly, Dax Jacobson. Yes, they will give Data the ability to feel injustice. Oh, I'm telling you, Spock's brain is the Red Angel. Spock's brain, or Michael Burnham, is Spock's brain, who is the Red Angel.
Just no.
And then I remembered that The Expanse is still coming on the air, and so is the Orville, and I don't have to commit harakiri. Oh, and I'm a father of 2, so they kind of need me for a little while anyway.
That might be the first priority there.
Second or third, something like that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So it is late. It is late. We have been going for almost 3 hours. I think we should let Susan go to sleep. Fembot Data. There you go. God damn, that Oscar host thing was awesome. Just seeing you guys light up the chat and stuff. That is why I do this. That was brilliant. You guys are brilliant. Okay. So my next produced video is going to be the Christmas ideas video, and it is with some great help from Cato. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Cato. I really appreciate it. That really helped me. It's amazing how these journalists can write an entire article from a thought they had in the shower. Yes. It makes me think maybe I can make videos like that. Oh, Comic Book Cast 2 does it. No, I just broke my rule. No, they're good. Hey, they got like a gazillion subscribers, but that's pretty much what they do with their videos, and it's genius. So if you guys want to do well as a YouTuber, just copy them. Cartman hosting. They're still coming up with hosts. This is brilliant. Susan, plug your wares.
Sure. You can find me at 1428elm.com. And when I'm not there, when I'm not doing this, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm on Midnight's Edge After Dark with Horror Talk with 1428 Elm. We won't have a show, however, this Wednesday because of the holiday. So after that, though, we'll still be same bat time, same bat channel. You can find me on Twitter at Susan on the Ledge, on Facebook, and on Instagram at De facto Scribe.
Sweet. Oh yeah, that's exciting. Our Instagram gets going again on Monday. Finally, after a year of being
Cool.
gone. Yes. Well, I'm taking it over. So that means it gets going. So yes, as far as we are concerned, we have the Runaways season 1. Dropped today. So I was supposed to do the first episode. I'm just gonna review the first season. On a Sunday, we have the Doctor Who Christmas idea video. I got some watch parties planned. We got a Counterpart watch party on Patreon. We have Counterpart on Sunday. We don't have any other than the Runaways thing. We don't have anything scheduled for Sunday, so I'll probably kick out a video or something. Then of course Monday, we're doing a nooner on Monday, and then Christmas Eve, we're doing a watch party on Patreon, and then I'll probably do a live stream reading Doctor Who Christmas ideas. I think that's going to be a thing. There's also a bunch of other stuff, fun stuff coming on where I think Christmas Eve, we're doing a Farscape watch party. So that's going to be fun. Lots of Doctor Who in the future. And yeah, I know you're sad about Doctor Who, guys and gals, but there's still just go back and watch some old Doctor Who. Check out some Big Finish, man. Big Finish is really good. Yeah. There you go. Party at my place. Hey, everybody, party at Gamer Gambit's place. Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Thanks for the $2, Mr. Twisted, for the mighty wrenches.
Oh, God, yes. You know what? I really like that idea of tipping the wrenches, too. Something
They
to think
should have
about.
a tip jar.
Yes, they should. Oh, mention that to YouTube's. You see, we also have some new patrons as well. And boy, I packed some packages went out today. Some more are going to go out tomorrow, and you'll get them, not by Christmas. Unfortunately, that was my bad, but you'll get them for the end of the year if you're in the States anyway. Yeah, we got Keegan Losebian and Phil Sayer, Donald Parrish, Donna Castellano, and Mark Sita. Yeah, there you go. That's our new patrons. Awesome.
Nice. Welcome,
everybody. That's brilliant. And man, it's been a great month. So thank you again to all the new subscribers, and let's thank the super chats as we normally do. We got to thank them all. Okay, here we go. Penn Farm Girl for $2. The Doctor 14 Blu-ray reviews for £5. Gamer Gambit for $5. OG Spock for $2. Tamarox for $50. Mary Ashby for $2. Lloyd for $10. Perpetual Punster for $13.13. Very funny. Marcus Kahn, thank you. Marcus Kahn for $5. OG Spock for $2. DeForce 10 for £2. Mr. Zedblade for $5.99. Nicholas Horton for £2. Mr. Twisted 72 for $5. Tamarox for $10. Mark C for $5, and Mr. Twisted 72 for $2. Thank you all for the super chats. They are greatly appreciated. They help keep the lights on here. And now we are going to thank the people in the chat. Mako for your wrench. Thank you. Matt Guy, DJ Odyssey. Susan, my co-host. Thank you, Susan. Cato Roan, Angel Feliciano, Gamer Gambit, Truth Apocalypse, Mr. Twisted 72, Matthew Got It, Cato Roan and his wrench, Mary Ashmead and a wrench. Mary, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Truth Apocalypse, maybe I said that name before. I might repeat some names. CD Horde, Nihilist Shadow, oh my god, Jamaz Geit. Don't be sad. At least they won't kill Christmas Day for you with a bad Doctor Who. Is it Jamez or Yamez? I'm sorry. You're right. That's a very good point. SBG. What is up? Von Spam. Good to see you, Von Spam. We Nigga Now. Hidden Wiki. Ejar. Matthew Got It. Matt S. Mata Nui was in here. There's Mata Nui. Joker 79, Dax Jacobson, Mage Gray Wolf, Wannes Vanderhagen. Jannes Vanderhagen. I like that last name. And Hyper Shoe or Shao. Hyper Shoe, sorry. I saw Tyler 2F01 and Brian Fisher, Cajun 451. That's as high up as I can go. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. You guys are wonderful. Nihilist Shadow. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will be back, of course, next Friday at 7-ish. And Susan, of course, is on Midnight's Edge next, not next Wednesday, but a week from this Wednesday. That's right.
Correct.
So our next live show. Oh, I don't know if we're doing an Exozone tomorrow night. I'll have to get back to you on that. I honestly don't know. It's kind of 50-50. If not, it's a week from the Saturday for sure. So just keep an eye on the community or our schedule, and I'll let you know if we're doing an Exozone, because I have not talked to Duke Cock about that. But I'm open to it. Oh, we forgot the woo-woo, but we'll do that next time. So our next big live show is Monday. So please check it then. Check us out at nerderotic.com. Say goodnight, Susan.
Good night, everyone.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fun.